How about that debate last night? Anyway, good evening, everyone. Good 7:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My apologies for the delay. My apologies for the delay. Um, my tea was very hot and I didn't want to spill it all over myself, getting it from over there to over here. So I walked very slowly. Welcome. Welcome, Jade, Dita, Chrissy, Tasha. Welcome, Sipster, Bella, Dove. The familiar names. Okay, good. So my people are here. Love you guys. Kalidra. Is this the guy that said, my wife told me to put the food away, so I put the pots and pans in the fridge rather than in Tupperware? I don't know, actually. I don't know. Luckily, I haven't seen too much of him. Welcome, Taurus, Bullet Magnet, Abdi. Welcome. So I'm expecting a special guest. He may or may not come. I'm not sure if he's busy, but he has a child. So I was hoping he could give me, like, as someone with children, I thought he might be able to give me a different perspective on some of the topics we're going to discuss today. But I'll wait. To see if he shows up, because he's not here right now. And we 7 minutes behind. So today we're going to be talking about communication because there seems to be a breakdown. There seems to be a breakdown happening in communication that I see repeated over and over again. This man obviously is going viral currently about the Kiwis. If you guys know what that is, if you don't, I'll show you shortly. But he's going viral about that. And interestingly enough, I found that the internet seemed to be divided, with one side saying that the wife is completely reasonable with her expectations, and with other people saying that he should not be required to read her mind. And this sounds like stuff that I've heard before. So I'm hoping that we can have a good discussion about this. That's what I hope. So I want to see both sides to see what people are saying. So that's what we're going to do. And since I'm somewhat of a communications expert myself, I've had many conversations. I've had a lot of conversations before in my life, at least one a day, I would estimate, at least. So I'm a communications expert and I'm going to weigh in. That's what I'm going to do. Before I do that, the Harris-Trump debate. So I didn't get a chance to watch it because Monday night, I remember anticipating it so much because it was yesterday. So Monday night, I was like, I can't wait for Tuesday. I'm ready. I'm anticipating it. We've been waiting for this debate for like 3 years now, however long. Whenever Biden stepped down, that was a while ago. We've been waiting for a while. So we got that. And I was anticipating it. But then yesterday, they worked me like a slave, like a slave. And by the time I got home, I completely forgot the concept of a debate. Like I don't even know if I was in my right mind after yesterday's workday. So I completely forgot. Today, as I'm at work TikToking, I see the Trump Harris debate pop up in my feed, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I have not watched the whole thing yet, but it looks it was interesting. From the few clips I saw, it was interesting. I'm not sure who's eating dogs, but I'm very sorry that that's happening. I guess if it is, I don't know. Like I'm confused about the one clip I saw was Vice President Harris said something like, Trump's not going to talk about his policies if you ask him. He's just going to talk about immigration and try to distract people and say, make America great again. And go and look at his rally. All they do is say, make America great again. And he does off talking about random stuff and build the wall and immigrants. Trump responds to I think the moderator says, okay, Trump, your question is something, something policy. And he's like, first of all, Trump did not like that she attacked. I think he was hurt because she attacked the MAGA. I don't know what they're called, conventions, whatever. When they get to the MAGA rallies, that's it. The rallies when they and Trump get together. I think he felt personally insulted about that. I don't think he cared about what she said about him bringing up immigrants. I don't think he cared about what she said about him not having policy. I think what he disliked specifically was that she said, "Oh, your MAGA rallies are." She didn't say stupid. She just said they don't talk about anything, and I encourage you to go watch and look at what they talk about. That's what I encourage you to do. He responded. He was like, first of all, first of all, no, they asked him something. I forgot what they asked him. It was something. So Trump, what is your policy? And he was like, first of all, my MAGA rallies, we're not there just talking about anything and just talking about nothing. We there because we want to make America great again, because you want to talk about policy, but these immigrants are coming in the country and they ate somebody's dog. They don't want to tell you that though. And I'm like, it feels like, I'm not going to say Vice President Harris set a trap and he fell into it, because obviously if someone says, if I'm in a debate with someone, I'm not a presidential candidate, so I don't know what goes through their mind. But if I were, and I were in a debate and someone said, whenever you ask him about policy, he's just going to change the subject to immigrants instead of giving you anything meaningful. And your next question to me immediately after that my opponent says that is, what is your policy? I feel like I would respond with my policy. I wouldn't be like, but the immigrants and like, I don't know. It, like, to me, it wasn't a trap that was set. So I don't understand how he fell into it. I don't understand, but he did. I then looked up the story about the immigrant eating dogs or something, and there was no evidence to substantiate it. So I just assumed he made it up. And then what really made me laugh. So this is going viral on Reddit, but there's one Reddit called subreddit drama. I know that I was new to Reddit a couple live streams ago, but I'm really on it now. So there's a live stream called subreddit drama, and apparently 1 month ago there was somebody on Reddit posted a picture of a black man holding a goose, and now 1 month later, he realizes, the person who posted that picture realizes that his photo has been co-opted by right-wing media to accuse Haitian immigrants of killing and eating geese. Welcome, special guest Key. How are you?
I'm the same as always, as good as I can be, but not as good as I can be.
Okay. Are you going to weigh in, or are you just here to listen to the vice president debate before we get into it? Got it. Okay, so timeline. 1 month ago, this random person on the internet, posted a picture of a black man holding a goose. Now, 1 month later, he realizes right-wing media has taken his photo out of context and used it to accuse Haitian immigrants of eating and killing geese. He made a post to correct the misinformation. He provides the location in the proof that the media headlines are misleading. He also provides just some common sense, like, nobody know if this man is carrying a goose. Nobody knows how this goose died. Nobody knows if this black man is Haitian. They don't know if he's an immigrant. If he is, they don't know if he's illegal. It's just a picture of a black man holding a goose is not proof of anything meaningful without more evidence, which is common sense, but he had to say it apparently. But the reason he found this out is because Let me read his words. I had no idea it was being spread around until I was contacted by ODNR. They needed to verify the actual location since they were getting a billion submissions to their criminal complaint department since it hit social media. So people are contacting the police department and saying there's this Haitian immigrant kill a duck and eat it, and y'all need to go figure it out. The police contacting him talking about where, let us have the picture and the location stamp so that we can investigate this, and he provides them the information that that's not is false. So has anyone spoken to the goose? Where is that comment? No, they had not, to my knowledge, they have not spoken to the goose yet. We're still waiting for the goose's statement. We're still waiting. But um people, so after he took this and he cleared it up on Reddit, I don't know why I didn't show the Reddit drama while I was talking about it, but if you guys want to go look at it, it's called "What's Good for the Goose, Take a Gander." It was posted a day ago in r/subreddit drama, where they apparently go over to other subreddits and look at messy posts. This subreddit is messy because they just go over to other subreddits and look at their mess and then post it here. Key left, just left me hanging. Anyway, so he posts the correct info. Hey, this is false. The Haitian people didn't come and kill a goose. Um, yeah, and there's no proof of that. And the people didn't care. They just didn't care. They were like, we don't care. Well, it probably happened somewhere. We don't care if that one photo is fake because it probably did happen. There's no evidence, but that's because they're hiding it all the evidence. We know how much police hide evidence when it comes to prosecuting black and brown people. We know inherently the police hate to do that. The police always hate to take down brown people, so they're hiding the crimes that these brown people are doing. The police are to uh, go against Trump or something. I don't know what the theory is. Like every time we talk about Trump or MAGA, I just get really confused because I read stuff that doesn't make sense. But to have the country, it makes a lot of sense that they saw this picture of a black man with a goose and they were like, see, black people always killing and raping and murdering, and they just took it and ran with it. That picture was enough. They didn't need no evidence, no stats, nothing. So I don't know what to say to that when people do that. I have no idea. um but hopefully we can use this as an educational moment, right? And we can learn something from this. um and that's to go out and vote, please, because that's scary. The idea of being a black man and you walk down the street, and so y'all know how much we love black men on this channel and how much we adore our black community, including black men. The idea, it just strikes my heart, the idea of a black man just walking and someone takes a picture of him walking, and the next day he wake up with death threats. Why did you eat that woman's dog? And like that just that scares me as a person of color. So make sure y'all get out and vote so that you don't get caught in a picture and then the next day they talk about this. It might just look like she's walking, but she's actually walking on the way to murder 16 precious white babies, or something. I don't know. So you gotta go vote, please. Go vote, please. Make sure you're registered to vote, and you have your ID and stuff. In some states they're trying to restrict voters if you don't have like the most stringent of forms of ID. So make sure you know your state's rules. With that being said, now that we move out of the debate with Trump and Vice President Harris, let's move into Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. So I hate to do this, but we will do it because when we looked at the Cam Newton interview, welcome back, Key. Have you seen the Cam Newton interview with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant?
I haven't seen it, so I'm gonna need you to catch me up on it.
Every time you know what's interesting? Every time I ask you about stuff, this is not, I'm not mad. I'm just explaining something. Sorry if I sound upset. Every time I ask you about stuff, this has been for like years, specifically 3 years. You always don't know about, in a way where, like, I remember 3 years ago, Um, I think I asked you, how do you feel about Kevin Samuels? At the time, he was like blowing up online, and you were like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh, he's like, there's this group of people. It's like Fresh and Fit in the roommate." And you were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, that's good. That's good. That's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It just continuously surprises me, and it reminds me to like get off the internet sometimes." But so Cam, I'm not gonna say what they did. We already did that in a different video. Just know that he had 8 children with 3 women, and he said it just happened to him. And he don't know how. And she said, "You're creating broken homes," and he was like, "How?" He didn't know how that was creating broken homes, and she ate him up. Basically, that's all that needs to be known about that. Um, when we were reviewing that video, I gave Dr. Cheyenne Bryant the utmost respect because when someone has a doctoral degree and they are doing, I don't know what y'all want to call what happened up there, psychological work or whatever, something that upset me was Cam Newton sitting across from her with her doctorates and him saying, you know, I went to school myself, as if like, that's if I have a doctorate and you have an associate's degree in political science, and we're speaking about medicine or something of which is my field of expertise, and you're not also someone respected in my field of expertise, I'm insulted. I'm insulted. And why would you ever compare that to what I have? I don't care. If you have your doctorates, if you go out here and get your 8, 10, whatever your degree, I believe you deserve those bragging rights. And I would feel insulted if somebody with a bachelor's in sociology is telling me that, oh, they actually, they're somewhat of a expert themselves. As a communication expert, that makes me sick. I've had many, many conversations in my life to make me a communications expert. Several conversations. I've had just 3 today. For someone who has only had 40 conversations in their life max to come and tell me that they can talk about communication without having my experience would upset me. But then something that also during the debate, I felt odd about the language that Dr. Bryant was using. I felt like it was unusual based on my own study of psychology. I felt like this was not verbiage that I would expect to be used, and this is not like a view that I would expect her to have with her experience. So I went to look up her degree, and I'm very upset. I'm very upset that I did this. But let's talk about it quickly, and then we'll move on to our opener memes and stuff that we were supposed to do in the beginning. Sorry for delaying it. And then we'll move on to our main topic. So, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's degree. What I did initially was I looked up, is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant a doctor? Because Dr. Dre, Doctor, like when I hear Dr. Umar, when I hear like doctor on the internet in this space that I'm seeing her in, I'm like immediately distrustful. So I want to verify that I'm actually listening to someone qualified and that I'm not like somebody who got a doctorates of music because they put out a nice album in 1997 or something. So where did I go? I went to the only place I could. I went to her page, her website, in her biography. Let's read. Welcome. Oh, well, thank you for welcoming me, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's biography. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is wait, this is a biography, not an autobiography? Okay. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is a psychology expert, renowned life coach, and co producer of MTV's nominated Best Unscripted Reality Show Teen Mom Family Reunion. Now, let's pause. When I read that, I was like, wait, what? Anyway, let me catch, let me catch the dentist who put in my feeling on Real Housewives producing and starring. I was very shocked at that. But I love it. Go off. So, co-producer of Teen Mom Family Reunion, ranked #1 author in Success Magazine's top 20, featured in Forbes, Oprah, Insider, blah 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 blah. Let's see, president of the NAACP branch number 1069. Don't know how big that is. Don't know where. Don't know about all that. That's not what I care about. Here's what I care about. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant attended Cal State University of Northridge at the age of 17. While there, she obtained a double degree in psychology and Pan-African studies. Pause. Very impressed with that, actually. A dual degree. I'm actually very impressed with that. I know some degrees have like overlap and blah 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 blah. Obviously, you don't have to take your general education classes twice to get 2 degrees. So obviously, it's not like you have to get 2 degrees from scratch, but just doing 2, I think, is a lot when people struggle to do 1. So kudos for that. During her first 2 years, she was undecided as to what field she would pursue as a career. Organically, she ended up choosing psychology. She still wasn't sure why. However, she didn't read. Okay, is this a biography or an autobiography? Because I feel like you wrote this, Dr. Bryant, which is okay because you're a best-selling writer, as evidenced as by what you said. I didn't go to verify that she's #1 author, so don't trust me on that. Trust her website. So she ended up choosing psychology. She still wasn't sure why. However, she didn't realize what had triggered her interest until she entered the master's program at University of Phoenix. She was about halfway through the master's program. What master's program? For psychology, or she was halfway through the master's program and boom, it hit her. She had a lot of healing within herself that needed to be done. Dr. Bryant's desire for self-fulfillment, healing, peace, and balance within herself and others drew her to the field of psychology. Being the overachiever that she is, Dr. Bryant decided to pursue her doctorate degree in counseling psychology from Argosy University, or Argosy. And I was like, okay, so she does have a doctorate. She even lists her university there. It seems like she got dual bachelors, so bachelors in 2 different fields, at a 4-year school. Then she started a master's program. Midway through the master's program, it looks like she changed her mind and went to Argosy University to pursue her and ultimately obtain her doctorate degree in counseling psychology. Now what I did was I looked up I looked up Now, why did I look up Argosy University? And the first thing that came up was Argosy scandal. And anyway, let's read. So I pulled up. So this is specifically for the school that she went to her doctorates for. I'm still going to call her a doctor because she has the degree. I'll put a question mark at the end of it due to what we're about to read. But I'm going to give her double bachelor's because she went and earned that, and even started her master's. Even if they're not like DeVry or Harvard, a degree is a degree, regardless of where you get it from. The courses tend to be the same, unless you're in like an extremely prestigious school. So Argosy, apparently they shut down and they got fined. Let's read why. Argosy to pay $3.3 million for misleading psychology students. This was in 2014. So Dr. Bryant might actually be entitled to some compensation, possibly. That is possible as well, if you're watching, Doctor. So Argosy University will pay $3.3 million to 66 former students of its doctorate of education in counseling psychology. Now, what I did when I read this was I went back to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's page and I said, let me see what her degree was in. Doctorate's degree in counseling psychology from Argosy University. Okay, let's go back. Argosy University will pay $3.3 million to 66 former students of its doctorate of education in counseling psychology program at its Denver campus to settle a civil lawsuit filed by the Colorado Attorney General's office in December. Prosecutors accused Argosy of misleading students to believe that the program was APA accredited and could lead to licensure as a psychologist. Now, let me pause and say that doesn't look good. That doesn't look. Yeah, yikes. I wouldn't normally say this online because I'm gonna just let you do what you do. I'm not about to. I'm not. If I read something like, I'm gonna just let you have it. But my channel's small, so nobody will see. So who cares? Um, So apparently, they misled students to believe that this program was accredited by the American Psychology Association and would lead to licensure as a psychologist. Our investigation revealed a pattern of Argosy recklessly launching doctoral degree programs without substantiating or supporting that they led to the advertised outcomes. This is what the attorney general at the time said in a press release. According to the court documents, investigators said that Argosy told students that its program was APA accredited or in the process of applying for an APA accreditation. Yeah, but neither was true. Colorado requires candidates for licensure to have graduated from an APA accredited training program. APA has no record of the programs ever applying for accreditation. Uh, this was from Susan Zotlow, who directs the APA's Office of Program Consultation and Accreditation. So let's see. Argosy and its parent company, Educational Management Corps, stated that the program never intended to apply for APA accreditation. I'm trying to say that correctly, because APA does not accredit programs that meet only on weekends as this program did. So apparently, this school doctorate's program only meets on the weekends and do their classes then. Now, at first, I raised an eyebrow at that, but then I looked around and I thought I might have seen more than one school that has doctorate programs that only meet on the weekends. And I mean, when I think about it, it kind of makes sense. Like these people are grown, they probably work full-time jobs, and the weekend might be like people go to night school, people go to, I'm sure that people do different things to obtain their degree. So, but apparently the APA does not accredit them because they only meet on weekends. The state's investigation also revealed that in 2010, Argosy told students that the program no longer met Colorado's licensure requirements because the State Board of Psychologist Examiners had changed its licensure rules. So, to clarify, they told the students by going here, you will get your doctorates in counseling psychology and you will be able to be a licensed therapist. This is incorrect because they're not accredited by the American Psychology Association. The school also lied to students who might have inquired, for example, or done some research or something and said, oh, we used to be accredited, but then they changed the rules. So, we still have a robust program. It's just that they tweak the rules a little bit and we're working to meet them. But the board said they have not altered their licensure requirements since January 2006, which was before Argosy launched the program in 2007. So that seemed to also be false. Argosy agreed to the settlement, which I think was, what was it, 3.3 million. So Dr. Bryant, if you might have some money in your pocket that you don't know about, and some bad news. Sorry. But they agreed to the settlement. Here's what they said. At Argosy University, student achievement is our top priority, and we are committed to constant improvement. It was important for us to cooperate with the Office of Colorado Attorney General throughout this investigation and bring the matter to a final resolution. And look, for the circumstances that they're in, I'm gonna say that's as good as a statement as you can make, given the circumstance, or whatever Cam Newton said about them 8 kids. This is just my circumstance. I'm doing the best I can with my circumstance. So cool. In addition to repaying the students' tuition and living expenses, the settlement also requires Argosy to stop advertising its Denver EDD-CP program as psychology licensure track program and to cease the claim that enrollment in the program leads to licensure. So, I mean, there are a couple different ways that you could interpret this. Maybe the only reason that they wouldn't be able to become a licensed psychologist is because the school only meets on weekends and the APA doesn't accredit those universities. Maybe the classes are legitimate, but they only meet on weekends. So they just fall short of the requirement, but not due to a reason that would make somebody unqualified as a psychologist. Maybe they weren't actually proper psychology courses for becoming a doctor. Maybe it was a mix of both. We don't know. We don't know, but it doesn't look good if you're a school. When I Google it, it was shut down after defrauding students and telling them that you're going to be a doctor if you take this course. And now you have to settle a lawsuit because that wasn't true. That doesn't look good. That's not her fault. You're correct, Invincible. That is not her fault. But that answered some questions I had personally about some of what I was seeing because I was confused. I do think she ate Cam Newton up, and I'm glad that she did. But I had questions about her approach to some things and some of the stuff she was saying that confused me, from the perspective of someone who I would expect to be like a psychologist. And those questions were answered. So that's awkward. Key, how do you feel? You don't know these people at all. Thoughts? These white people and their dogs. I don't know if y'all can hear them. So my opinion is, if the rigor is like, it could very well be, okay, this could satisfy the requirements for a master's program in psychology, just not a doctorate, which would still be extremely respectable in my opinion. It would. Like you study the same thing, but maybe you have no interest in being someone's psychologist. Maybe you just want to have the same knowledge of psychology that a doctor. Like I'm not saying that it's illegitimate, by the way. I don't know. It could be or it couldn't be. So it's unfortunate. It has nothing to do with this. Yes, it does. If my doctor went to a school that said we lied about you being doctors, that course doesn't actually satisfy the requirements to be a doctor. Yeah, that does matter for the students, not just the school. It's not the student's fault. If that's what you mean, I agree. It's not the student's fault. Now here, let's just move on. We don't have to talk about that anymore. And we're 30 minutes in. Perfect. Key has no thoughts about that. So here, let's move on to. So we can do a couple things. I can either do a few quick intro things that are kind of related to the topic, or I can save those for the end and we can dive right into the main topic, which is the man buying Kiwis. I'll let you guys decide. We can do one for the Kiwis, 2 for miscellaneous things. So 1 will be Kiwis and miscellaneous things in the after show. 2 will be miscellaneous things, then Kiwis, then the after show, where I will have no memes. I see 1-1. Let's do it. Let's do it. 2 1s. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to play my intro and then we can get straight into it.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up.
Have you ever been swallowed, Key? swallowed up. You're on mute if you're trying to talk. I just realized.
So I'm off mute now. What's up?
I was asking you all these questions. I was fully ready to do this by myself. I was like,
I'm not gonna lie. I've been listening this whole time, kind of, sort of, but like listening but not paying attention. You know what I mean? No, I'm lying.
Got it. It's a school
But I'm ready.
year, children. It's a lot. Understood. So we're going to look at a TikTok. You're here so that I can get a man's opinion. Because people say people don't call me a man, so they call me they, them. They, them. Sometimes she, her. But they don't call me a man. They don't. The men in my comments don't specifically.
I'm not gonna respond to that. I don't know if you was trying to draw a response out of me, but I'm not gonna respond to that.
Okay, let's see about not responding to something. Let's watch this TikTok.
I was telling my spouse I'm gonna go to Costco, and what she said was that Kiwis are on sale, and I said, okay. Now I need y'all to tell me if I'm wrong if I don't buy Kiwis. Julia's not. Yes, I'm wrong.
You're not just wrong because you didn't buy Kiwis. You're wrong because you didn't qualify that statement with clarity.
Look,
and by you telling me that this is on sale, would you like? Because she's at fault too.
Oh,
would you like
point.
some?
She's at fault. And so here's the thing. I did.
That's wild. Hey, you have a problem and you got it. She's at fault too, but you have. Yeah, she's at fault. That's what I'm saying. That's a wild. Like you can't even get through. You can't even get through your accountability yet. You got to go straight to hers. It's wild. I'll rewind it. Sorry. We're supposed to let it play through.
That this is on sale. Would you like? Because she's at fault too.
Oh,
would you like
point.
some?
She's at fault. And so here's the thing. I did buy I did buy the Kiwis because before I left the house, we're standing there in the kitchen. She's like, hey, Kiwis are on sale. And I said to her, what you mean to say is, can you buy Kiwis? And she's like, well, yeah. And I was like,
why you gotta have that energy with her?
No, because
and what you could have said is, would you like me to get some? Or
like
how many would you like?
I would love to get you some. How many would you like?
Well, they're in a box.
Be kind to your spouse.
Hey, look, don't be coming at me with this bad. I thought, I'm telling this story on the podcast. That's bad communication right there. Kiwis are on sale.
Yeah, on your part.
On both parts. Both y'all. Both of them.
That's so I actually haven't seen the full clip. This is my first time seeing that full clip. I didn't even know there was more. But like I didn't know the guy came in and said, be kind to your wife. And he would no, but what? Well, she's like, I didn't know that happened. That's if somebody said, oh, maybe you should be kind to your wife, and the person responded back with like anger or to combat that would be weird, in my opinion. Key, is he wrong for not getting the Kiwis from a man's perspective?
Not only is he, but he got the Kiwis. Now that I know that, but not only is he wrong for that, the whole conversation of him feeling like he had to correct her with, would you like for me to get some Kiwis? Or I guess with him asking her, what you meant to say is, would you get some Kiwis? Right? Like we talked about earlier when you called me, if you come over to my crib and we chilling, we watching TV, watching the football game, watching, whatever, doing whatever, vibing, and I look at you and I say, hey, bro, I got beer in the fridge. Do I have to tell you, hey, man, there's beer in the fridge, go in there and get you a beer? Why did I ever mention beer being in the fridge if I didn't intend for you to go get a beer out the fridge? So, yes, 100% wrong for the fact that he felt like she needed to ask on top of already mentioning it.
But that's different because we're homeboys. What if it was like your
That's not different. Whoa. Pause. Before we get too far off. It's
but
even
what if
worse
it was your
because
girlfriend?
No, listen. It's even worse because we are just homeboys. They're married. They're in a marriage, right? A commitment. So therefore, their understanding should be further and more valuable than our understanding of each other, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, but in my opinion, if we're homeboys, we get along, we understand each other. However, if we're married, we really should get along and understand each other. So if I come to you and I say, hey, my back hurts, you know, whatever. Like, it should be an understanding that you're like, all right, well, she need to take it easy. She need to rest and relax. Maybe if I got, you know what I mean, that energy in me, a back rub or whatever. But it should not, you shouldn't need to ask the question on top of that.
You think he should be expected to read her mind?
It's not even reading the mind, but yes, but it's not reading the mind. It's just an understanding, you know what I mean? Like, it's just an understanding in the air. I really don't even know what to say to put it into words, but almost reading her mind, yes. Because in a household like that, right, clearly they eat kiwis. Clearly they know that if they run out of those kiwis, they need more. So if she's like, oh, we're out of kiwis, I see that. I went to Costco whatever day that I went, right? Maybe she didn't grab them for whatever unknown reason and then come back. I know he's going to Costco. Let me remind him, hey, kiwis are on sale, right? That's the whole level of understanding right there. He didn't even have to read her mind, really, if you think about it, right? Because she said it out in the open. She said kiwis are on sale, so there was no mind reading to be done.
Kiwis are out. That's an interesting way to put it. Kiwis are out. That's funny because I imagined it in my mind. Like, I'm going to the store. Okay, we're out of kiwis. Why did you tell me that fun fact? Like, I don't know. It feels remedial. It feels remedial, but I'll speak through example because that's the best way that I can, I believe. If I say, I'm trying to understand if I'm crazy, you're affirming that I'm not. So let me ask the chat instead. Maybe their opinion differs. If I say, and I want y'all to be honest, don't lie to me just because it's Prince Petty. You can be honest with me. If I said, hey, while you're at the store, can you see if they have nacho cheese in stock? And you come home without nacho cheese, and I say, oh, they didn't have any nacho cheese in stock? And you say, yeah, they did have it in stock. And I say, well, why didn't you get any? If you reply to me, you didn't tell me to get any. You just said to go and see if they're in stock. So I drove to the store, went over to the nacho cheese aisle, looked to see if it was any there, and it was. So I got in the car and drove home without getting any because you didn't tell me to. If you tell me that, am I crazy if I say while you're at the store, see if they have nacho cheese in stock? Am I crazy to expect for you to? It's like the thing that you say and the thing that you mean can be linked together using critical thinking. In my mind, I can reasonably say that if my partner's asking me to see if they have something in stock, my partner wants or needs that thing. And if it's in stock, they want me to get it. I'm explaining it slow. I shouldn't have to because it feels easy to me, but I will because it's a conversation apparently, which we'll look at in a moment. I'm gonna assume if they ask me if something's in stock, they want me to go see if it's in stock, and if it is, they want me to get it. So at the very least, I think a reasonable person might call and say, hey, they have it in stock. Do you want me to get some? Like, there could even be additional clues, for example, since we're talking about critical thinking, like maybe outside of just your partner asking you to get some nacho cheese, maybe you could say, like you said, we use this around the house, or we're making nachos tonight. My wife asked me if any cheese is in stock. We might need that for the nachos, right? Like, is it wrong for me to feel like you should be able to link these things without me having to say verbatim, if you go to the store and you see that it's in stock, make sure to get some. Don't get some by stealing it. Go to the register and scan it and then pay for it with your card, and then go out to the car, put it in the car, and then come home, take it out of the car, come inside, put it on the counter or in the fridge or wherever nacho cheese goes. I don't know. I don't eat it. But that's not crazy, right? Because I feel like I'm being made feel like it's crazy. It's crazy. That's what I feel like. I'm being made to feel like it's crazy. Key, did you want to say something? I saw you come up.
Well, I was waiting until you got done because I heard you say that's not crazy, right? I just wanted to affirm that. I think what's crazier to me is this, right? And I'm not going to try to get off on a tangent with it. The failure in these marriages, this one specifically, and I'm just going to stay on this one. The failure I can see in this marriage from just that little snippet is kind of crazy to me, right? Because you can't tell me, if you're somebody who's ever been in a committed relationship or married yourself, you can't see failure written all over that relationship. Because if we get along and we know each other and we understand each other, right? Understand being the biggest thing, right? Of this specific instance, understand each other, right? If I say, hey, can you see if they got nacho cheese up there? What did I just tell you? What did I just say to you overall? Don't just take what I wrote on the paper, right? What did I just say to you? What I said to you without saying it all was, hey, can you see if they got nacho cheese up there? And if they got nacho cheese up there, go ahead and grab some, because clearly we need some more here at the house. You should understand all of that without me having to say all of that. So to me, like, you can see the failure written all over this relationship. Just it's blaring out to me.
Jay Chan, I say what I mean and mean what I say, so having to navigate extra social cues is confusing to me. I will post a link later for you to come up, because there are people who share your opinion, and we're going to be looking at that video. Key, I don't disagree, by the way. Thank you. We could do one more, and then we can get into, I have a rant about critical thinking and weaponized incompetence. But before we get into that, so body language and nonverbal cues, right? I'm pretty sure, let me Google this before I say this. Let me say it while I Google, and if it's wrong, then I'll say that. I'm pretty sure something like 90% of all communication is nonverbal, right? And what's interesting is nonverbal doesn't just mean body language. Nonverbal can also be like tone, and verbal, I think, is verbiage, anything to do with words, specifically what words you use, not how you say them, not what tone, but specifically what words you use. So I'm pretty sure something like Inbug House says 70 to 93% of all communication is nonverbal. The University of Texas estimates 90%. We have one person challenging that. That seems to be the dissenting opinion. But it seems like there's a general consensus that a lot of communication is nonverbal, perhaps the majority of it. And the figures that I see look to be between 70 and 93%, with some outliers. So it feels unusual when these conversations keep happening online, and there are people who say they need something said to them verbatim for them to understand it. That seems like, if your partner was okay, sorry, I'm fidgeting, I'm nervous. This is very unbecoming of a communication expert. I apologize. When you ask your partner, let's say you ask your partner, are you cheating on me? And they start like sweating immediately, like fidgeting with their fingers and looking around, like their eyes are darting everywhere, and they're laughing nervously. Cheating? No, never. Now, let's say I have a girlfriend or whatever, and I asked her if she was cheating, and she just did all of that, and you were right here and you saw her do all of that. Now, what are you about to say to me about whether or not she cheated? I feel, what would you say if I asked her if she cheated and she started sweating and fidgeting and laughing and saying, no, cheating, me, never? What would you say as my friend? Would you say to me, no, you can say it. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to figure out if you're asking me as the girlfriend or what.
No, you're not the girlfriend in this scenario. You would be my friend who's beside me.
Cool. That's how I was going to answer, but I didn't want to be asked as the girlfriend.
Swallow.
I mean, clearly the study is there about the nonverbal communication, but that's just, to me, you would have to know the person you're talking to, because some people just get nervous. No, hear me out. Some people
cheating?
just get nervous
What?
talking about things in general. Like some people just get nervous just because. You
I
know what
won't
I mean?
accept that. I won't.
Yeah, like
I
some
won't
people
accept
just get nervous. So you would have to know the person you're talking to. If y'all have conversations all the time about things that y'all are both comfortable with, and you don't see any of those clues ever, or that's not a regular part of y'all's day, and then all of a sudden you ask a question like that, and now she start pouring down sweat and her eyelids flipping over backwards and her shoulders are
What do
cold and all
you?
this nonsense,
I'm not
now
going to
you know
entertain.
something's off.
I won't entertain the idea that that could be someone regularly, and
How do you
therefore
know?
not.
You don't know.
So like hey babe, I'm going to the store. To the store? Well, why are you going to the store? Like, I don't feel like somebody's like that 24/7.
I mean, I'm not gonna say 24/7, but I mean, there are people out there who are just, you know what I mean, the way they are. So you just have to know who they are. But if they start acting out of character, you know what I mean, in a way that you don't understand, or you ain't never seen, or you don't regularly see, then yeah, you know something's off.
Okay, so let's assume it's something I don't regularly see. Now, are you about to say, well, they just communicated to me verbally that they don't cheat, so clearly there's nothing for me to worry about? Or are you going to say, even though she said I'm not cheating, something about her body language, her tone of voice is screaming, I'm guilty? Moving forward, since I didn't like your answer today, I didn't like your nuance on that one.
I'm not saying we're going to accept that. I'm just saying you need to be able to read into what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, now if they doing all that weird stuff that you're doing with shaking and looking around and doing all that, I mean, things like that ought to be obvious. But most people don't do that. You know what I mean? They don't do that stuff in general. It's just going to be small cues, subtle things about the way they talk and the way they respond and the way they answering. That's going to give it away. And you're like, you know, that look weird, or you sound kind of nervous,
so
or your lips are quivering and things like that.
Instead of something that's subjective, let's move to an objective experience that we can't deny or interpret any other way. If you are Black and you grew up with Black parents, especially people with Black immigrant parents, like, I feel very sorry for you in particular. I hear Asian and Mexican immigrant parents are like this too. I've heard about the chancla throwing. I've heard about it, and I stand with you, my sisters and brothers from a different race. But if you grew up in one of these households with a Black or an immigrant parent, and let's say, I don't know, you roll your eyes at your parents or you smack your lips, I feel like, you know, if you grew up in these households, something's about to smack you upside the head. It might be their hand. It might be the refrigerator is thrown at you. I don't know what it'll be. Why? They're going to tell you why. You're not about to disrespect me in my house. Now, what do you say back? Maybe you can tell me this one and I'll like your answer. What do you say back after your mom or dad slaps you or spanks you or whatever after you roll your eyes at them and they say you don't disrespect me in my house? Do you say, I'll give you options, do you say back to them?
I really don't even need the options, but I'm gonna take them.
Say, okay, thank you. Do you say to them, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir? Or do you say, mother, father, I never said anything disrespectful. I never communicated verbally any disrespect to you. No, that's silly, right? Communication is largely nonverbal. And I feel like if you grew up in a Black household, which he likely did, then you would know that. When your parents say you better wash them dishes, surely you don't say or what. Surely you already know what. You already know or what. You don't need them to communicate to you exactly what they mean, because I don't know, you have a 6th grade level intellect or above, and you can deduce. You can deduce at a 6th grade level, just not deduce something specifically, just deduce generally. You know what I mean? Like anything. Like,
Yeah,
I hear a thump. Oh, something fell
I'm
down.
just tell
Like,
you on the first part,
Mhm.
there is no say back. Like, if you grew up in like an older fashioned black household, you know what I mean? For like anybody who's not maybe, I don't know, 20 and below, if you're above, let's just say this, if you are 30 and above, I can use that age safely. If you are 30 and above, that means your parents are obviously older than that. There was no say back. You didn't need to respond on what just happened. It was a matter of if you could still walk and move normally, you just went and got done whatever needed to be done.
Let me quickly
But if you
pause.
couldn't,
Let
you
me
had to
quickly
just lay
pause.
there and recover
Can I
until you
quickly
could get
say?
up.
Can I quickly say, y'all don't beat your children. We are bonding right now over.
Oh, no, I don't want to condone anybody beating their children, but I'm just going to say that if these new rules to society were in play back in those days.
Oh, you're saying you would have had a mouth on you if they weren't doing like they used to do back
I'm
then.
not saying that I would or wouldn't, but I'm just saying that I can see now, like the way these kids are now, half of these young kids would no longer exist if they was back in those days. Because there was no saying anything back, no responding. You didn't even need to acknowledge or correct yourself on whatever happened. Like none of that, because that just made something else happen for you trying to be correct.
Yeah, we don't condone that. We're just bonding over our traumatic upbringings that we didn't realize was traumatic because the world was like that back then. My apologies if it seemed like we were condoning anything. We're just trying to explain that even at a young age, Key seems to agree. I would agree. I would bet most people agree who grew up in these households. You know nonverbal communication, and you don't need someone to say to you exactly what they mean. So the fact that people know this makes me feel like it's impossible for someone to say, oh, I just don't know what's going on unless you tell me to go and buy the Kiwis. I don't know. That seems impossible to me. I believe it might be weaponized incompetence. Before we get into weaponized incompetence, since we talked about experts saying that something like 93% of communication is nonverbal, I'll play a little bit of the video again. I won't play the whole thing, just so we have it fresh in our minds in case you just hopped in. And then I want to talk a little bit about critical thinking skills. And then we'll watch the dissenting opinions and we'll give our thoughts to see what the people who agree with him are saying. Let's watch just a little bit.
I was telling my spouse, I'm going to go to Costco. And what she said was that Kiwis are on sale. And I said, okay. Now, I need y'all to tell me if I'm wrong if I don't buy Kiwis. Julia's not, yes, I'm wrong.
You're not just wrong because you didn't buy Kiwis. You're wrong because you didn't qualify that statement with clarity.
Look,
and by you telling me that this is on sale, would you like? Because she's at fault too.
Oh,
would you like
point.
some?
She's at fault. And so here's the thing. I did buy golden key. I did buy the Kiwis because before I left the house, we're standing there in the kitchen. She's like, hey, Kiwis are on sale. And I said to her, what you mean to say is, can you buy Kiwis? And she's like, well, yeah. And I was like,
why you gotta have that?
It's almost like if you are 6 years old or older, you have the critical thinking skills to know what she's asking. And instead of doing that like a normal, well-adjusted adult, you want to teach her a lesson. Why? I don't know. Why you want to teach someone a lesson like they're a child when basic communication is something that children can do, but you can't apparently? I don't know. Why would I listen to someone who doesn't have the basic communication skills of a child? Why would I listen to them teach me a lesson about, by the way, you need to tell me, please pick up the Kiwis. That's how you need to tell. No, get out of my face. So let's talk about verbal communication, context clues, and critical thinking, right? And let's do it like this. You know those high school, I hope everyone's been to high school or college or something. You know those math and critical thinking, it's like math problems specifically is what I'm thinking of right now. But you know those critical thinking problems that you might have on a high school or college exam. It'll be something like this. Let me pull this up. Here are some patterns. Here are some examples of the critical thinking questions I'm thinking about. That would be in math, for example. Right. I don't know if y'all can see this. I want to make it bigger, but it's really big on my screen already. So I'll leave this up as I give my example. The example will be something like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. The question will be something like, finish the next 3 numbers in this sequence. Let's pause. Let's pause. I don't want to move too fast, guys. I know this is like, I can already hear y'all in the chat. This is advanced level thinking. We're not ready for this yet. I promise y'all, I won't go too fast. Just stay with me. Just stay with me. The example is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. The question is something like, finish the next 3 numbers in this sequence. What is being asked of us right now? Right now, we're being asked. Chop, chop. We're being asked to, using the context provided and your own critical thinking skills, solve the problem. I'm going to the store, babe. Okay, Kiwis are on sale. What can we infer based on the context we have if we use our critical thinking skills that I hope and I pray that we all have, but I've seen Trump, so maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Actually, I just thought about the debate. Maybe we don't, but I hope we all have critical thinking skills. What can we infer or what pattern can we identify here? It is so sad to me that high school, really middle school or elementary even, level critical thinking, middle school, elementary school level critical thinking is difficult for this man talking about some Kiwis. And unfortunately, I feel like a good bit of men, I don't know how many, but a good bit. 4B is alive and well. It's alive and well. So a good bit, I would say. Not Key. Key knows what's up with the Kiwis. But this is sad. This is sad because this is something we do in elementary school that you would expect. This is 6-year-old critical thinking. 6-year-olds can do this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. What comes next? What is a 16? What's a 6-year-old going to say? He's going to say 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. What's a 40-year-old man gonna say? Oh, well, I don't know what comes next. Nobody told me what the next 3 numbers in the pattern are. How can you expect me to know the next 3 numbers when you didn't give them to me verbatim? You're a bad communicator because you didn't give me the next 3. No, you are. You are the bad communicator. Logical gender or whatever, but a 6-year-old is out competing. I don't understand that because a 6-year-old could do this problem. And I feel like it's exhausting for a grown man to need his partner to hold his hand through this step by step. That is exhausting. Maybe you can help me with this part, Key, because I don't have a child. But have you ever tried to do something with a child helping you? Like sweeping, maybe your kitchen floor is dirty and it needs to be swept and mopped. And if you have another adult with you and they have a broom and a mop and you have a broom and a mop, I feel like you can do it twice as fast. But if you have a child with you and they have a broom or a mop, I feel like they're sweeping the cereal all in the corners and the crevices and the cracks. They're kicking ice cubes under the fridge. Yeah, I know about you ice cube kickers. I know about y'all. And they're leaving a line of dust on the floor after they sweep it into the dustpan. And you basically have to baby them and hold their hand and instruct them on what and how to do every single small thing, which if you're teaching a child how to adapt to society is awesome. But if you're trying to sweep this floor, feels like it makes everything take twice as fast, is incredibly inefficient. And because you have to show them, this is how you hold the dustpan, this is how you hold the broom, this is how you sweep without getting everything everywhere, this is how you mop, this is how you wring out the mop. Like if you have to show them every single step of the way and you can't expect them to do this task, it depends on the age too. Like probably a 13-year-old could do it, maybe 6-year-old or below, maybe not. But it's even more exhausting if you have to get a child involved. I don't have children. I don't know. Maybe you can elaborate there. But that sounds exhausting to me. And I feel like it would be even more exhausting when it's an adult who should be able to put 2 and 2 together. It's not reading minds. That's what you said, Key. You said it's not reading minds. I agree. It's not reading minds. It's you're an adult. I think you should be able to put 2 and 2 together without having someone hold your hand and walk you every single way of this, every single step, every single way through every single step. Not the divorce paper. The divorce came out of nowhere. All I remember is
I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway because I already started, so I might as well. But I'm gonna tell you, you're not wrong. It's really not exhausting with a child though, and I will say this. Here's why: because you expect, or should I say, you don't expect a child to get in there and be like, "Oh, I know how to run this broom and this mop. Let me perfectly help out mom or dad." Sweep up the floor, mop the floor, and everything to go swell, right? Especially like you said, a child 6 and below who's not doing that on a regular basis. I get that. If I tell that same child, hey, pick up your toys, put them in your toy box, I expect them to know how to do that, right? So I wouldn't say it's exhausting, but what is exhausting, like you also mentioned, is that grown man who is grown and you would expect to understand things past the level of having to be explained, you know what I mean, word for word, verbatim, every single word spelled out and said out to them. That does get exhausting. I mean, it gets exhausting over time. Now, it's not something that you're going to turn around tomorrow and be like, dang, we had a bad conversation yesterday. Now I'm exhausted and it's the end of the world. But over time, it does get exhausting. So, but like I said, in that his particular instance, right, and I'm going to say one more thing about him because Buddy really made me mad with that. I'm not going to lie. It frustrates me that he felt like that he was not to blame solely, completely for his little actions, right? Because everybody gonna understand what I say when I say this, right? Everybody know about the pineapple thing, right? You know how the pineapples work with humans, and you know what I'm going with that, right? With pineapples, with people eating pineapples. Had she looked at him and been like, hey, kiwis are on sale, and you know about them kiwis, or you know what them kiwis do, right? The same way people use the pineapples, I guarantee you, she would have not had to say anything else. That man would have bought every single kiwi that was fresh in the store at Costco, and he'd have come back with all of them with no questions asked. She wouldn't have had to ask for kiwis. He wouldn't even have been on that show talking about how his wife said something about kiwis because he knew where that was going. But the fact of her just leaving it at the fact of kiwis being on sale and it didn't incur anything else for him, to me, in my mind, like he felt like, oh, that's not good enough for me. Now I got to do something for her. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm about to make it a point. I'm about to make it a point to get on her nerves. Like for what? For why? Why would you? Why? Why do men do that?
I'm mad that I know what you're talking about with the pineapples. I'm actually mad. I didn't know at first, but when you said, "Oh, he gonna rush," if she say get pineapples, he gonna rush to the store. So pineapple apparently is a symbol for swingers. If you don't know what that is, I won't explain it. You can Google on your own time. And I'm sorry in advance. And I know this because I got a pineapple tattoo. And I didn't know at the time, but I found out after when someone else saw the tattoo and they thought I just like pineapples. That's why I got the tattoo. I didn't know about all that stuff y'all be doing. I didn't know that. But that's how I found out that it means it's something for swingers to communicate to each other without saying it out loud. But I think what Key was talking about, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is there's like a myth that if you eat, I don't know if it's a myth, like I don't know the science actually, but if you eat pineapple and maybe other certain fruits, it will make your reproductive fluids taste better.
Hey, put what Sabrina in the chat, what she said. That way everybody can get the pineapple reference, what I'm talking about. No,
upside.
not that. No, go further down. She said something else. Go further down.
Not that.
Not
Let me see.
that.
What did Sabrina say in the chat?
Keep looking. She said, "Hold on, let me find it again."
Sabrina,
So-
what are you?
It's too many comments going at once. Go further up.
Pineapple makes your lady part smell.
Yeah, there you go. Right
better.
there. Right there.
That's what I heard.
That way everybody can kind of get the reference on the pineapple thing. And we're not gonna go into it. I mean, y'all can Google and research on your own. I don't feel like that's for me
people
to
have
try to
all sorts of rituals, milk and honey bath and eucalyptus, aloe vera. People have all sorts of rituals. I haven't researched any of them, but they are out here in use. I can promise y'all that they're out there doing it. They doing it out there. Y'all better watch out. If you're pure and not tainted yet by fornication, and you're remaining pure until you die. But anywho, so you brought up something interesting, which I didn't think about, which is that a parent of a child might look at taking care, like teaching a child how to sweep and mop and do all that. They might look at it as exhausting, but you paint this other picture where this is a child and you would expect a child to do that. So the exhaustion that you would feel, you might not necessarily feel with a child, but it's because he's an adult and you would expect him to be able to communicate at the level of an adult, which is what makes it exhausting in him particular. I agree. I think it is exhausting in a child. I mean, well, it depends. Maybe y'all are like stay at home and have the luxury of just only having to raise a child and not having to sweep up cereal off the floor after a 12-hour workday. But anywho, so this brings me to, I guess, my next point, which is it weaponized incompetence in that case? And what someone in the comments said, Emma Dilemma, I wonder if he has that same attitude with his boss. I think she said something else too, but I can't find it right now, related to the workplace. And like, is this done at work? Is this done in the office, do you think? Like, if his boss comes over to his cubicle and his boss says, I don't have all day, do you think he says to himself, what does that mean? What does I don't have all day mean? I guess I don't know. I guess I'll just work on the project at the same speed as before. I won't increase my speed because I don't know if he wants me to speed up my work to meet a deadline, because he has to say those exact words to me. Otherwise, I have no idea what he's talking about. Probably not, right? I doubt it. So I have to believe, as I said earlier, either there's an issue. I don't know if you spoke about all marriages in particular or his or marriage in general. I can't remember. But I do think this is an issue in marriages and in relationships generally, where there's a sort of, I believe, because this is a sort of trope that I see in men, I believe there are two options. Either A, I have to believe that men are not aware generally of how to think critically, use context clues to solve problems in their everyday life. And that's tempting. That's tempting to say as someone branded a man hater. That's tempting for me to say. But due to the previous example I gave with the man and his boss at work, I'm more inclined to believe that it's weaponized incompetence and that it's weaponized towards women specifically. Because this does seem like this seems like a variation of the conversation, don't expect me to read your mind, where a woman will come home, the man will be like, how was your day? She'll be like, it was fine, huh? And he doesn't investigate further. And she gets upset and he's like, well, you have to say to me the direct words that you're upset. And it seems like this sort of trope in relationships and marriages generally, where there's a communication breakdown between men and women, where the men tend to lean more towards, you have to tell me something verbatim, and the women tend to lean more towards, you should be able to pick up on body language, on tone of voice, on other things, and not just the exact words that I'm saying. And there's this sort of breakdown there, which I believe is weaponized incompetence, because I don't think that breakdown exists with men. We just talked about, if if I came over and you said, and I said I'm thirsty, and you said, oh, there's beer in the fridge. Like, I don't need you to say there's beer in the fridge and you are allowed to drink it. I feel like I'm able to deduce that based off of, I just said I'm thirsty and you just said there's beer in the fridge immediately after as a response to what I said. I feel like I can deduce that much, and I don't need you to say there's beer in the fridge for you to drink. And if you do say there's beer in the fridge for you to drink, I don't need you to say you can also swallow the beer after you drink it, and then you can also digest it. I don't think that's needed. And if it is, I don't consider an alternative. I don't think that's a reality. Like, it's either you have to say, yes, you can go to the fridge, open the fridge, get the beer, drink the beer, swallow, digest the beer, either that, or you're someone with the critical thinking skills of at least a 6-year-old and up. So, excuse me. I believe it's weaponized incompetence, but you can give your thoughts as well. And then we'll go to, there was a YouTube video where they gave both for and against. They just compiled TikToks where people responded to it and gave it their ideas. And I'd like to watch that. Then I'll open the panel because I know one of you at least said you disagreed. And if you wanted to come up, you can. Key, is it weaponized incompetence?
I don't know if I should be the one to deem rather that specifically as weaponized incompetence. But what I am saying is, you know what, I'm gonna just say, in his case, yes. My man is
you better hold them accountable.
He's so far off the line right now. I don't even know if he could come back from that little snippet. He can't recover. Because that is such a simple situation, right? And I know it's crazy to say that, but think about it. That's such a simple situation of it wasn't even miscommunication. I don't know if that would fall into the lines of miscommunication, maybe the lines of lack of communication, but like, it was simply, she mentioned the Kiwis being on sale. If he didn't understand that she wanted Kiwis, he could have asked, hey, you mentioned the Kiwis on sale. Do you want some? You want me to pick some up? Do we need some? You know what I mean? Or was you just throwing it out there in case I wanted some? Or what was your reasoning behind throwing that out there? Right? Like I said, in a marriage, you shouldn't need to do that, but he could have done that. So
it's
him,
also,
I just don't know. Buddy is in a bad situation.
It's also like, I don't think I would be as upset as someone who didn't understand that you wanted them to get Kiwis as much as I am as his response. Because like his response, he said, one of the men said, I think he said, oh, here, let me just watch it. Let me not put words in his mouth. Sorry.
That's
Would you
the
like
point.
some?
She's at fault. And so here's the thing. I did buy I did buy the Kiwis because before I left the house, we're standing there in the kitchen. She's like, hey, Kiwis are on sale. And I said to her, what you mean to say is, can you buy Kiwis? And she's like, well, yeah. And I was like,
why you gotta have that energy with her?
no, because
And what you could have said is,
No.
would you like me to get some? Or
Yeah, so I don't think I would be as upset as they illustrate there if he's like, oh, do you want me to get some key? Like, there's so many ways that this conversation can go, but for some reason, even though he already understood what she said and he didn't even need to ask really if she wanted him to get him some, he just comes out, what you mean to say is you want me to get Kiwis. You need to communicate that effectively. And the other guy is like, yo, why do you talk to your wife like that? Do you hate your wife or something? Why not just, hey, do you want me to get some Kiwis?
And that's exactly why I said earlier, if you look at that situation, you can just see failure all over that relationship. Like that little snippet right there tells me, and I hate to say that about somebody's relationship that I know nothing about. I mean, I don't even know that guy's name and I know nothing about it. I hate to say it, but like, it's true. That right there is one of those statistics where they're getting divorced, they're splitting up and all that. And everybody's like, dang, I thought they was going to work out. They look so great together. And the whole while, this guy's over here correcting her about talking about Kiwis. That's all going on behind the scenes.
The marriage, the divorce came out of nowhere. No one could have seen it coming. I apologize for burst out laughing in the middle. I accidentally read some of the comments with my left side of the eye was looking over here. It was paying attention to you, but my right side, my right eye, I'm both eyed. I don't know what the term is, but my right eye was looking over here at the comments, you see. And the comments say, one of them is like, why do you have that energy with her? Exactly. So they affirm it. Question, if you're in the bathroom and you yell out or text her that you're out of toilet paper, do you expect her to bring you more? I'm going to Costco. Kiwis are on sale. Cool, I'll grab some. But instead of doing that, he picked up a podcast mic. They coming for microphones in these comments ever since 2023. They started coming for these microphones and saying, wait a minute, who's giving y'all these Be kind to your spouse. They just quoted the man. My advice to her is next time he says, I'm hungry, do nothing. He didn't ask a question. He made a statement. I don't even think it was bad communication because he knew exactly what she meant. He just wanted to correct her. He doesn't like his wife. She's at fault too. She was at fault. That's not what he said, but interesting that that's what he heard. It's not bad communication if you understood what she was trying to say, but chose to misunderstand and try to blame her. It's insane someone else has to tell you to be kind to your spouse. I'm not about to read all these comments. I'm not about to sit here and do this petty mess. You think I'm gonna go through all of these comments and read all of these comments trashing this man? I won't do it. I won't. I mustn't. Good on these men holding him accountable for his part. I didn't see the divorce coming will be the next episode. I won't do it. I won't read anymore. I can't. I can't. We have to move on. I casually mentioned.
Let's move on, but I'm glad that you read that last comment. So now that I don't feel like I'm on an island by throwing the divorce thing out there, because I'm telling you right now, that's what that kind of situation leads to.
The proper response was, how many do you want? Okay, we'll stop. They'll comment eating him up. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you haven't already. It helps the algorithm. Yeah, thank you. It helps the algorithm. Hello, Mia. I did not see this. Hey, Pookie. What is Pookie? I hope that's not a bad thing. Is that what they said? They said the immigrants was eating something. They was eating Pookie. What was they eating? Is that what it was? Thank you for the super chat. So without further ado, let's get into this video. We're at the hour and 22-minute mark. Here, let me make a timestamp. I'm gonna give y'all chapters this time. If you're watching post, don't worry, I'm gonna give y'all chapters. I have listened to your cries. So this creator's name is, let me see. What page am I sharing? Here it is. This creator's name is Priscilla Boy. She posted this one day ago. It's just a compilation of people reacting. Let's watch.
Hi
everybody, welcome back. So in today's video,
I was telling my spouse I'm gonna go to Costco, and what she said was that Kiwis are on sale, and I said, okay. Now I need y'all to tell me if I'm wrong if I don't buy Kiwis. Julia's not. Yes, I'm wrong.
You're not just wrong because you didn't buy Kiwis. You're wrong because you didn't qualify that statement with clarity.
Look,
and by you telling me that this is on sale, would you like some? Because she's at fault too.
Oh,
would you like
point.
some?
She's at fault. And so here's the thing. I did buy golden key. I did buy the Kiwis because before I left the house, we're standing there in the kitchen. She's like, hey, Kiwis are on sale. And I said to her, what you mean to say is, can you buy
Maybe I should have skipped this part. We've already watched it. Should I? I'll let it play.
Kiwis. And she's like,
I'll speed it up.
Well, yeah. And I was like,
why you gotta have that energy with her?
No, because
and what you could have said is, would you like me to get some? Or how many would you like?
I would love to get you some. How many would you like?
Well, they're in a box.
Be kind to your spouse.
Hey, look, don't be coming at me with this bad. And I thought, I'm telling the story on the podcast. That's bad communication right there.
It
Kiwis
is.
are on sale.
Yeah, on your part.
On both parts. Both y'all. Both of them.
yeah. Well, he's asking if he would have been wrong if he didn't buy the Kiwis. I'm thinking, did you actually buy the Kiwis? Because if you did get the Kiwis, why are you still talking about this till this day? Why do you want to be so right till this day if you actually did?
Wait, I just realized it's not even this. Like, so this is like something that happened 3 weeks ago. And I just know he came on that podcast. He just knew these two men was about to say, yeah, these women need to communicate. I just know he was ready for some affirmation. He been thinking about this for 3 weeks. I'm gonna tell about I can't wait for the next podcast episode. I'm gonna tell about what happened last week. I just know anyway, sorry. I completely forgot. It probably didn't happen the same day. It's probably like something that happened in his past and he's still thinking about it. Sorry for interrupting.
About this till this day. Why do you want to be so right till this day if you actually did get the Kiwis? Because I'm getting the vibe that you didn't get the Kiwi. You didn't get it, and it has been a problem in your relationship for a long time, and you're still trying to justify why you didn't get the Kiwis. Okay, but because you are on this podcast, you have to say, "Oh, I got it." Because if you did get it, why are you making a big deal out of it? There's no reason to make a big deal out of it. But like I said, you didn't buy it. You didn't. Okay, and everybody you've told this story to told you were wrong, and you still want to be right. You want to be right so bad because it's her fault. She didn't communicate. She has communication issues, which, yeah, you have a point. I mean, Kiwis are on sale.
Oh, I disagree that she has a communication issue, by the way.
Just, she should have said, "Oh, I want you to get some Kiwis," and I also found out that they are on sale. Okay, but then again, it also makes me believe that maybe she finds it like she thinks it's bothering you when she asks you to do stuff for her, because maybe you are one of those guys who just love to get whatever is essential, whatever you need, and anything extra is almost as if someone is putting a gun to your head. I'm sorry, but you're a bit reluctant in doing those things, and that's why instead of telling you that she wants Kiwis, she resorted to implying that she wants Kiwis. Okay, a lot of women do that as well. Like, they hint, especially when it's like a big buy or a big ask. Maybe I want to go on a trip on my birthday, or I want to go to this fancy restaurant on my birthday or for an anniversary. They kind of hint that they want that, but something as small as Kiwi is giving off you may be one of them stingy guys. Okay, you don't like spending your money, and you don't like spending money on her. All right, I'm sorry, and I may be wrong. I'm just assuming. Okay, I don't know the bigger picture. I don't know what your relationship is like, but I'm assuming that you may be one of those guys. Okay, because the vibe I'm getting out of all of this and the way you responded to the other guys on the on the podcast panel, is giving me the vibe that everything she tells you to do feels like she's forcing you. Like, you don't go out of your way for her. Okay, you don't go out to do stuff for her. You always, it almost feels like she's worrying you. She's asking for too much, and so on and so forth. That's the vibe I am getting. Okay, so she's resorted to implying when she wants stuff instead of communicating what she wants. Or she just could be bad at communicating. And the thing is, you have been okay with it for a very long time. So why do you have a problem now? Okay. All right. Why do you have a problem now if that has been the issue for a very long time? That's why I said the things I said before. It could be one of any of those things. Either you don't like spending money on her, you don't want to do too much, or it feels like she's bothering you when she asks you for things. All right. But like I said, I may be wrong. All right, so let's get into some of the stitches, and I'm going to come back and talk some more and leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Thank you so much, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Okay, so now we have the perspective. I like that she gave her perspective and put some people who agree, some who disagree, because even the people who agreed with her, who disagreed with him, I found it unusual that, and maybe this is something I'm blind to, but people are saying that both of them have a communication issue. They're just saying that he resolved the issue poorly. So they're saying that he's correct. She should have said more, and she didn't communicate effectively. They just didn't like how he responded to it. So like he didn't like his wife. I don't know this man or his relationship with his wife, but this is what it seems like, and this is what people are saying. I disagree for the reasons that we talked about earlier. Do you guys remember that? Remember earlier when 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, what comes next? Is the next number 12, 14, 16, or is the next number, I have no idea? There's no way to tell. This math problem is a bad communicator. It doesn't give me enough information. Which one of those? Here, y'all not listening to me. Here, I'll make a poll. I'll make a poll because maybe I'm wrong. Should the poll be, is she a good, are they both bad communicators or just him? Or let me see. Is she a good communicator? I was going to put what comes next after 2, 4, 6, 8. And the options were going to be 10, 12, 14. And the other option was going to be, I have no idea. Not enough information to know. Yes. I'm gonna do, okay, is she a good communicator? I'm gonna put yes, and so is he. I'm going to put yes, and he isn't. I'm gonna put no, but he is. And no, but he isn't either. These aren't good answer options. Sorry, I made this fast. There, be sure to vote on the poll in case you're a listener only. I'll have some questions for y'all after, and I will be dropping the link towards the end of this video because I just have questions. We're not gonna jump you.
My spouse, I'm gonna go to Costco. And what she said was that Kiwis are on sale. And I said, okay. Now, I need y'all to tell me if I'm wrong if I don't buy Kiwis.
Ladies, listen to me when I say this. Men are not dumb. I know Twitter shows it. I know TikTok shows. They're not dumb. They're choosing to misunderstand you so they don't have to do something. I work in a corporate office. I see men with bachelor's, master's degree, working in high-level fields, directors of finance, directors of accounting, VPs of marketing, vice presidents, everything. Let their boss slightly insinuate something. They're jumping the gun to get it done. They're meeting deadlines. They're doing their work. Their boss doesn't tell them something and they go, oh, I just didn't understand. Like, that's not conversations that they have in the office. Please stop letting these men play y'all. They're not stupid. They're manipulating you.
If you and I were coworkers and
I won't comment on that because I feel like I already gave my my work example, so I would agree with that actually, and I have no further comments. By the way, Key, if you want to pause at any point and to say anything, just let me know. You can just unpause, and I'll hear you.
I'm not gonna take too much time, but that first lady that reacted did bring up an interesting point. Bro, if this happened 3 weeks ago or weeks ago or whatever, bro, why is this still on your mind weeks later? And you like, man, remember this thing happened 3 weeks ago. This is such a simple situation where I felt like my wife was wrong and I need to make it a point to let everybody know I was right in this situation. That to me is beyond crazy. Like, even if I am right, I'm going to just take that little win and go on about my business. Because I promise you, there is no worse feeling in a married household than being in a household where the woman feels like she's wrong. Because she's about to make your life miserable. Like, there's just no point. Even if you're right, bro, take that silent W and go on about your business. So to hold on to that for 3 weeks and then get that affirmation is crazy to me.
Well, I can't purport to know what's going on in their personal relationship. So this is all theory, of course. Like, I don't know these people and I'm just making stuff up. But it could be, it could be like this is something that they back and forth with in the relationship. If it was just one time, maybe not. I mean, maybe if it was one time, but like it might be a multiple issue thing. Like, I can't see someone hyper fixating on Kiwis specifically and, hey, you need to tell me. Go. Like, I can't see someone over such a little thing stopping the conversation like this to teach somebody a lesson. So I'm thinking maybe this is a consistent issue in their relationship or marriage. I don't know if they're married. I think so. But and it's something that they butt heads on a lot. So it could be bigger than just the Kiwis. I haven't seen that whole podcast. And I think he wanted some affirmation. The Kiwis might have just been the most recent thing, and he just wanted affirmation. And I think based on, if you look at podcasts online with men in them generally, I think he was expecting them to both affirm him and say, yeah, I don't know why these women expect us to read their mind. You need to communicate to a man bluntly and tell him exactly what you need. The only time I'm ever here, let me show you something. There's only one time I'm okay with a man miscommunicating. There's one time, one specific scenario that I'm okay with. Let me see if this is the one I'm looking for. Let me see. I can't find it. Literally, there's one time. I don't like those ones. I can't play that one. I mean, let's do it. Forget about it. This is the only time I'm okay with a miscommunication. I hope the volume's loud enough.
I got exactly what you told me to get.
Thank you, babe. You got extra heavy? Yeah, okay.
And listen, man, I got exactly what you wanted too. Yeah,
Wait.
your favorite flavor wings. Yeah.
What you got wings for?
That's what you told me to get. You told me to get pads and wings.
No, baby.
I think this is staged, but the original was just like this. The woman told him to go to the store to go and get her some pads with wings, and he went and got some pads, and he went to Wingstop and got her favorite flavor of wings. That's literally the only miscommunication I'm okay with ever. But that's not what I think he was expecting. I think he was expecting those other two men to, in line with other similar podcasts, to say, yeah, as a man, we shouldn't have to read your mind. You should tell us exactly the thing that you want every single time. Outside of pad with wings, I don't think I would ever agree with that under any circumstance. So that's why I believe he brought it there, because it's a consistent issue, and he thought he was going to get some. He thought he was going to have some like minds, but he thought wrong. He thought wrong. Let's continue.
I came by your desk and said, hey, Michelle brought some bagels from Panera. They're in the break room. Would you stop me and say, oh, did she bring them to share? Is there enough for everybody? Should I get up and help myself? No, because you would not require any additional information, because you would be able to tell what I mean by that. And that's what the Kiwis are on sale conversation is about. And that's why I said men only complain about that when it is a woman saying it. Because
I want to add, okay, if he goes to the store and he comes back with like 75 Kiwis, assuming this is not consequential to their budget, I'm okay with that too. I'm okay with that too. Like, there are certain circumstances that I'm okay with someone misunderstanding something that I feel like is basic in ways that I think it makes sense to misunderstand. But like, other than that, no. Sorry, that was unrelated to what she's saying.
In any other context, 2 + 2 is 4. Like, don't act stupid. If your wife is like, hey, I was running late, can you throw the kids' laundry in the wash for me? And then you only put them in the washer, never go back to put them in the dryer. You did that on purpose. You know that the laundry has 2 steps. So you purposely only did step 1 because that's what she said.
Good night, Golden Lady. Have a good night, everyone. Wish Golden Lady a good night. She's going to bed. She or he or they. I don't know your gender. I just assume because Golden Lady. We're going to tuck our homies in over here. I didn't miss it.
And then you would turn around and say, oh, well, you didn't ask me to put them in the dryer.
The main, argument of this whole entire conversation is the fact that a lot of dudes be acting like they don't know what the
Agree with her, by the way, fully.
the fuck their woman wants, what the fuck their wife wants, what the fuck their girlfriend wants, whatever it may be. And it's crazy because in my mind, I'm like, if I have a conversation with you like that, like the topic of the conversation in the context that we're talking is, hey, you're going to Costco. Hey, Kiwis are on sale. Why would I bring up the Kiwis on sale if I didn't want you to get them? That's weird. It's strange. Like, who has conversation? Not only that, but it's like, you've been married to this person. Like, just imagine the whole dating thing. Like, y'all met, y'all started dating, y'all were engaged, y'all got married, and that's been years, okay? So you've been married to this person and know this person for years and don't understand their communication style. Like, do you guys honestly talk to your girls, talk to your women, and have conversations with your women and actually know your women? Because I'm just like, why is this a debate right now? Personally, I think the only dudes who think that this is a debate is the ones that really just trying to use weaponized incompetence. Like, they just trying to act like I just didn't know what you want. So instead of asking questions, they just want to, default it out to, well, I didn't know, and then didn't get it. So I'm just like, bro, like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Because in any other context, a bunch of dudes will understand exactly what the fuck they talking about. For example, if the boys were like, yo, I'm gonna call up my homie, and we gonna play 2K. Yo, we gonna come to your house, we gonna play 2K all day, all right? That will be the statement. And within that statement, a lot of the guys, when they show up to their best friend's house, they're going to bring the controllers, they're going to bring snacks, they're going to bring drinks, they're going to bring food, they're going to bring extra cords that they need, HDMI, charging cords, whatever it may be, maybe even another CD for the NBA 2K, maybe even, some cash or whatever that they can give to their homeboy when they need to buy some virtual coins or something like that for NBA 2K. Like, all of that was not said. All was said was, yo, come to the house, we're about to play some 2K, but they know, like, okay, in order to play 2K, I need this, that. Yeah, I'm going to bring all this stuff so we're going to be set, we're going to be good. Why can't y'all do that with women? Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening right now?
Kiwis are on sale. Okay. That's information. Unless there's a direct.
Let's pause. So I'm glad we're getting different perspectives. I think she shares your perspective. Maybe it's because I'm single, but I didn't think about like being with the person who you love, supposedly, not based on evidence I've seen from him online, but I assume that the person he's with, he loves or at least likes. So being with the person that you like for so long, why is this a ish? Like, don't you know the person that you like after so long? Like, I don't know. But it seems
I mean, that's exactly what I said. Like, that's what we was talking about earlier. It's wild to me, right? Like, you telling me that y'all just got together. So unless they just got together, man, a month ago, 2 months ago, I mean, it really don't take me that long to learn somebody. But if they live together, then they've been together for at least a few days. He should have already known her. He should know her communication style and understand her. Homeboy just being straight up wild with this.
Okay. So you think he's wild. We all think he's wild. Here are the dissenters. These are the people who are like, yes, he is right. Let's do it. They are women, by the way.
Happening right now.
Kiwis are on sale. Okay. That's information. Unless there's a direct request tied to that. Oh, it's just information in my book. As a person who's recovering.
So this is the person who is like, oh, that's just a fun fact that you just randomly gave out after I said I was going to the store. And they're like, we can't deduce anything because you just gave information you didn't request it. She's going to make that argument and we're going to listen. Oh, yeah.
Direct request tied to that? Oh, it's just information in my book. As a person who's recovering from doing too much, I needed people to be direct and to ask for what they want. When you just say statements and just expect the person to know to go get the Kiwis or whatever else, you're invisibilizing that person's labor. So I would be in a relationship with somebody, platonic, family, whatever. They would never ask me to do anything. They would just say, hey, the car needs gas. And they'll know I'll do it. They never ask.
Let's pause. No, let's let her continue.
And so they easily say, I never actually do nothing, TJ, but I'm doing it all. You're saying all these things because you want.
Okay, we could pause here and then I'll rewind just a little bit so it doesn't cut her off. So she uses the term, if you, the example she gave with gas or the Kiwis, if I say I'm going to the store and you say, oh, okay, Kiwis are on sale, and you don't tell me directly to buy Kiwis, then what you've done is only give me information and not a request. And if I have to make the connection that the reason you said Kiwis are on sale is not because it's a fun fact of the day, but it's because I don't know, we're out of Kiwis recently and I'm going to the store and right now Kiwis are on sale, right? It's not reasonable, or it doesn't seem like she believes it. I'll let her continue, but it doesn't seem like she believes that's reasonable. And she uses the term the invisibilizing of labor, i.e. if I tell you, if you bring the car home and the gas is empty and I say the car needs gas, I have to go to work tomorrow, not for you to go and get the gas, but rather for you to make the connection as a thought that the reason that they're asking, the reason they're saying the car needs gas and they have to work tomorrow is because they want me to go fill up the gas that I just used. Making that link, not the actual physical labor of filling up the car or driving or anything, but specifically, I believe she's talking about making that link between the words you said and the words you meant is invisible labor, which I don't quite understand. I will let her finish and maybe we can understand it better. I haven't watched all of this. I just watched the people I agree with. She talked for a little bit. I heard invisibilizing and then I was like, oh, nope, live stream. I'm not about to do this alone. No, thank you. Y'all know how I feel about my brain cells. We can spread out the pain amongst a large group of people instead of just concentrating it and I have to consume it by myself. Anywho, I'll back it up a little bit just in case y'all didn't hear her. Key, any thoughts, or you want to let her finish?
No. Before everybody forget this woman and what she just said right now, who gives out that kind of information?
You be careful. That is a lady. That is a lady. You be careful. That is a lady.
No. How is that comparative? That's just information to me. If I come to you and say I'm going to Costco and you tell me, oh, okay, cool, Kiwis on sale, how is that just information to me? If I come home or you come home or I come home, right, like she's used, if I come home and my car is out of gas, right, early on in the day, and then you come home later on and I'm like, oh, shoot, car's out of gas. You know what? I got this husband here, this person that I married that should be willing to do things for me. I'm not going to ask them to go above and beyond, but they should be willing to do things before me. And he know that I got to get up and go to work tomorrow. And then I just look at him and be like, hey, my car's out of gas. You know what I mean? I got to go to work tomorrow. Kind of forgot, slipped my mind, whatever. She never once asked him to go put gas in it, but if they just straight up say my car's out of gas, you know, I got to go. You should just know to get in the car and go get some gas or go put gas in the car. Like, how is that just information? I guess that's the part that I'm confused about. How is that just information? But continue.
I agree, but I can't support that because I don't support men talking down on women. That's why I said she's a lady. Be careful, sir. You better coddle. You better. But I do agree. I do. But I'm gonna let her finish. I prefer to be asked directly. Okay, they'll show the context again, so you can stick around. I will post a link too. For friendly discussions, we won't jump you.
To do anything. So I would be in a relationship with somebody, platonic, family, whatever. They would never ask me to do anything. They would just say, hey, the car needs gas. And they'll know I'll do it. They never asked me for it. And so they easily say, I never actually do nothing, TJ. But I'm doing it all. You're saying all these things because you want me to know it needs to be done and you expect me to do it. Then you forget about all the labor that I do. And I mean, this is even me with my parents. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm hungry. Okay, well, thanks for sharing, Mom. Oh, you want me to go in the kitchen and make something? You want me to go order something? Yeah, I have put them in the habit of asking for those things. And then they can also see how much work and how much labor is on me. And so people.
Golden lady, you are supposed to be asleep, young woman, and we already gave you good nights, sleep tights, and don't let the bed bugs bite. And here you are over here twerking in the chat when you just said, good night, y'all, I'm going to sleep. And now I feel stupid because I had everybody say good night, and you over here, we didn't walk in your bedroom and you turned the TV off real quick like we didn't see. We didn't see you were still up. Now I feel like a fool. So she seems stressed about this. Sorry, Golden, didn't mean to call you out, but well, you're out there now. Welcome back. Welcome back. But she seems stressed out. And it seems like in a previous relationship, someone took advantage of her kind nature where she describes going to fill up gas, doing stuff for your partner. But they never directly ask, and because they never directly ask, she does not feel appreciated for what she did, and like all of her labor was for nothing. I understand where she's coming from. I disagree with her how she chooses to resolve this issue moving forward. I am completely aware of let me see. I don't know. Somebody wants a new pair of shoes for Christmas. They're talking about it. So, oh my God, I want these shoes. I can't wait for Christmas. I've been looking for these shoes so long, but I can't afford them. Oh, I want these shoes so bad. I love these. And you are like married to them or something. So obviously you have a close relationship. You're around them, listening to them talk about what they want for Christmas, birthday, or whatever. And so you get them that thing. And I don't know, let's say they don't really show appreciation, or you want a thank you or something because you feel like whatever. And they say, well, I never asked you. I never asked you to get me anything. I may have heavily insinuated what I wanted from you, but that doesn't, you chose to get it by yourself. I never asked you to. So don't try to hold that over my head when I never asked. I don't care if you asked me to or not, if I did something nice for you like this. Obviously, context matters, blah, blah, blah. Maybe in some situations, no one owes you politeness or whatever in return. Got it, understood. But I'm going to say that I do know some situations where this happens, and it happens in a malicious way, where someone takes all of the stuff that you do for them and they say, well, it was your decision, so it's your fault. Like, we've seen this in the manosphere, for example. I'm pretty sure there are some men who are like, I told her I was going to treat her bad, and I told her I was going to do X, Y, or Z, and she chose to stay anyway, so that's her choice. I never told her to stay. And they feel like because they never told her to stay, it absolves them of all of their bad behavior. I think this might have been what happened in her relationship to some degree. Because they never told her to do those things, they're not going to give her any credit for it, which I disagree with. In my opinion, I would be taking the credit anyway, regardless of if that person asked me to, and I would be valuing those things. I wouldn't devalue what I did for someone just because they didn't ask me to be nice to them, and I was nice, polite, or generous, or charitable, or whatever to them anyway. It seems like she's gone the opposite route, and she has chosen to never interpret anything ever again. And it has to come direct, or it's not going to happen at all. If you say if I say I'm hungry and you say there's food in the fridge, I'm gonna starve. I'm gonna starve until you tell me I can have some. And I can't diagnose anyone with trauma, or like, I don't have the credentials to do stuff like that. But someone in the chat pointed out that this might be elicited from a place of hurt or unhealed trauma, right? But I won't talk about that further, because I'm not going to put trauma on someone who doesn't have it. I'm not going to speak that into their life.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. Whoever said that in the chat, it don't take rocket science to figure it out, because I'm telling you right now, this Kiwi situation, and I'm not going to diagnose her with nothing, but I am going to say this Kiwi situation is not where she's coming from. She's not even in the same realm as this Kiwi situation. What she's talking about is miserably failed relationships, whether that be with her family members, her friends, her relationships, boy, girls, aliens, whatever she was with, that has failed miserably for her, because that man ain't even talking about his wife using him, and now she's going to use that against him. Like, I didn't tell you to do nothing later, and you did that on your own. That has nothing to do with this Kiwi situation. There is no invisibilizing of the labor going on in that situation. It's the simple fact that he chose to misunderstand her on purpose when he understood her, and then felt like he needed to be right. I don't think that this lady is on the same wave that we on with this Kiwi deal. I don't want to put nothing on her, but she's really not on the same wave that we on with this Kiwi situation. She venting to us about her bad experiences, and it has nothing to do with this Kiwi deal.
You know, that's actually pretty insightful. I'm glad you're here. I wouldn't have thought of that. I don't know why I didn't make that connection, but yeah, the video she's responding to about the Kiwis, the man in that was not like, oh, the reason why I didn't get the Kiwis is because she would be invisibilizing my. That's not like, so maybe this is a projection on this woman's part, because you're right. Like, this invisible labor had nothing to do with what they were talking about. He was specifically wanted to teach his wife a lesson. So good catch. Thank you. No, she wanted to. Let's continue. I'll let her get through it. I'll try not to say too much more.
People can go out on whatever that do is for actually wanting his wife to say, can you get the Kiwis from Costco? But I know for me, as a person who have done way.
Oh, people not mad at him for needing communication cleared up, by the way. I wish they were, because I think it's third grade level communication. So I wish people were mad at him for that. But it seems like people were mad. Even the men he was talking to are mad specifically because he chose this as a moment to chastise his wife and teach her a lesson in a way that seemed malicious, as opposed to just politely asking something that he already knew by his own admission. Do you want me to get Kiwis? As if he likes his wife. I think that's why people were mad.
Too much to the point of exhausting myself. And the people be like, oh, but I didn't ask you to do anything, but you did this expectation. I remember I told this one person, I don't mind doing X, Y, and Z for you, but I'm gonna need you to ask me for it. They was never able to do it. They can never even articulate this. It was, y'all better ask for what y'all need and stop throwing out hints. Communicate. It's the same thing with money. Folks be like, guess I'm gonna be in the dark. I ain't got no money to pay my light bill.
Oh, even that's different, by the way. Like, hey, this is how I communicate effectively, and I need you, if you need something for me, I need you to ask me. Even that's different than what he did. Like, if he was like, hey, babe, I know that you want me to go and get Kiwis, but for like my mindset, like my mental, like it's just this thing I have where I need you to ask. Sorry, but like, can you, like, even the approach that she has here is different. So you don't have to laugh at this, lady. I'm not forcing y'all to laugh.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel bad because I'm chuckling a little bit. She need to be fast forwarded to the next lady, because you see all this talking about cutting on people lights and carrying on, giving people money. She, like I said before, she is not even in the same ballpark as this Kiwi situation.
You're correct. I wanted to wait for her to finish to point this out, but I'm seeing themes of when I mentioned earlier, oh, you want us to read your mind, you want us to, it's not even, this is not about reading someone's mind. I don't even think it's about what you said about, oh, when you've been with your partner long enough, you'll know them well, so you'll be able to pick up. I don't even think it's that. I think, like I said earlier, this is 6-year-old and up critical thinking skills that you would expect a reasonable human being to have. That's why I'm so stuck on when people say, oh, the woman was a bad communicator too. I'm stuck on this because this feels like a reasonable person would be able to. Here's what I'll say. I'll give my favorite example. Oh, let me check the poll. Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all were voting. I apologize. Let me see what y'all saying in this poll. Y'all better not be cutting up. You better not be cutting up in this poll. Where's my poll? Where'd it go? It's gone. Okay, I'll come back to what I was saying. Let's commercial break with the poll. Is she a good communicator? By she, oh, well, now we're looking at this lady, so maybe you guys who just came in didn't know, but by she, I mean the lady in the Kiwi situation who said Kiwis are on sale. I should have clarified, sorry. 56% said yes, she's a good communicator and he isn't. 6% said yes, she's a good communicator. He's also a good communicator. Interesting. 2% of you said no, she's not a communicator, but he's a good communicator. And 36% of you said no, she's not a good communicator, but he isn't either. Okay, so it should be a lot of people with different opinions. In case y'all feel alone in the chat, you're not alone. So, I mean, I'll open up the panel. We're halfway through this, and we're probably going to skip through her. But now I can end this poll. Thank you for voting, because I'm about to put a new one up. Because this, I believe, will illustrate what I'm trying to say if it's not clear. I don't think you should have to read someone's mind. That's not what I'm saying. And I understand that different people have different communication styles. Some people might like more direct communication. I completely understand people want direct communication versus some people want implicit in communication, for you to know stuff inherently, and for you to have I completely understand different communication styles, and I completely understand how unreasonable it is to expect someone to literally read your mind. That is something I understand. That's not what I think is happening. Call back to the examples Key and I used earlier. If my friend says I'm thirsty and I say there's beer in the fridge, do you really need me to say that you're allowed to drink it, you're allowed to swallow it, you're allowed to digest it? Or is that something that a reasonable person would know implicitly? This, I think, is my favorite example, by the way. And then we'll move forward, because I didn't give like 17 examples tonight. But we have to move forward. We must. But this is my favorite. A woman is walking out the door. Her husband says, "Where are you going?" She says, "To the store." He says, "Okay." She walks out. She drives to the store. While she's shopping, she gets a call from her husband, who is upset. He says, "Why didn't you tell me you were going to the store right now?" She says, "I did tell you, remember, when I was walking out?" And he says, "No, you said I'm going to the store when you were walking out. You didn't say I'm going to the store right now." Let me recap. It's a short story, but let me recap in case y'all didn't hear me the first time. She's walking out the door. He sees her walking out the door. He sees her grab the coat off the coat rack, put on the coat. He sees her grab the car keys off the wall. She's carrying reusable shopping bags. It's no plastic where I live. You have to bring your own bags to Walmart or Target or Aldi or whatever. But whatever. He sees her doing all this. Grab the coat, grab the keys, grab the reusable shopping bags. And she opens the door, and while walking out, and he sees her do all this, he asks where she's going, and she says, "To the store." I want you to stop for a second and think about what a reasonable person would think about the events taking place in front of their own two eyes. Would a reasonable person say, based on the events happening in front of me, based on the context of the situation going on in front of my own two eyes right now, it appears that my wife is going to the store right now at this moment. She's walking out to go to the store to buy groceries or whatever. Or B, option B, would a reasonable person say something like, "It is impossible for me to tell with the current information I have when my wife is going to the store. It is simply impossible. Unless she says the exact words, 'I'm going to the store right now,' it is unreasonable to expect me to be able to deduce, based on the events that have occurred so far, based on her walking out the door, grabbing the keys, her coat and shopping bags, and going to the car, cranking it up and driving off. With all of this information, it is unreasonable to expect me to deduce, based on these events, that she's about to go to the store right now. It's impossible for me to tell that. It's unreasonable." And this is the problem with women, and they want us to read their mind instead of saying exactly verbatim what they need every single time. In fact, the next time when my wife comes back from the store, if she asks me to buy Kiwis, I'm going to teach her a lesson about not saying exactly what she wants from me. Which one of these options do you think a reasonable person would say? Key, you can answer. The chat can answer. I'll make it a poll, as a matter of fact. That's what I was doing. You can tell me which one you think a reasonable person would say. Do you think A, it looks like my wife is going to the store right now? Or B, I don't know when my wife is going to the store. It's too hard to figure out. Or do y'all remember D, I don't know, please teach me? Do y'all remember that one? Well, that seems like B, basically. Here, I'll put them down for you. Don't worry.
Well, based on what you said just a second ago, if she walking towards the damn door, going out the door, taking whatever it is she taking, not to be specified because it doesn't matter, and you stop her and ask her, "Where are you going?" and she replies with, "I am going to the store," in the process of her going out the door, what do you think is about to happen? She about to go sit out there in the car, turn on her favorite R. Kelly music, right? And I don't want to hear y'all say nothing about R. Kelly, right? She going to turn on her favorite music, and she going to just sit in the car and jam and be like, "Dang, I hope my husband don't ask me no questions here in the next, 10 minutes that I've been sitting in this car. I'm not going to the store right now. I'm going to go in a minute, but I'm just coming out here to sit and jam my car." No, fool, she going to the damn store right now. Like, that is just, to me, this is the craziest thing right here. Men, I'm trying not to men shame, but like, it's the craziest thing. Men be doing this thing, bro. They be doing this thing like this, right? They act so damn clueless about the things that, like, they don't think matter much. Like this communication with your wife, right? If you're married, they act so clueless about this because, like, she should have never had to finish with, oh, I'm going to the store right now at this very moment. When I leave this doorway, I'm going to get in the car and start the car and drive to the store. If I'm walking out the damn door and I say I'm going to the store, guess what? Here in the near future, when I get to my car and hopefully that some bitch start up, if it start up, I'm going to go to the store. Like, to me, that's crazy. And then for him to be confused, like he didn't know that she was leaving to go to the store. So now when she get back from the store and she say the next trip is to the courthouse because she need to find somebody else that can understand her, he gonna be real confused then. Or is he gonna understand that? Or is he gonna say, are we going to get divorced, or why are we going to the courthouse? Like, what's going on?
Who said R. Kelly in the chat? What is y'all getting on R. Kelly? Did you bring up R. Kelly? What did you say about R. Kelly? How did I miss that?
I said that she was going to sit in the car and listen to R. Kelly music, but I explicitly said, do not jump on R. Kelly. And they jumped on R. Kelly anyway.
Well, why wouldn't you? I will hope anybody. Anyway, I'll just look at the other stuff you said, and I'll assume that was a Freudian slip or whatever they call it. 83% of y'all saying the wife is going right now. Looks like they're in agreement with us. 17% say, I don't know when the wife is going to the store. It's too hard to know. So to me, the reason I was using the wife at the store example is because to me, the Kiwi example is that it's something where you would expect a reasonable person's critical thinking skills to pick up on what's going on here and make that connection without you having to do the exhaustive labor of explaining to them what words and sentences mean, what implications mean, and why this thing implies that. And that's what a reasonable, like, for you to do all of that mental work for them, that's what is exhausting. That's what's exhausting in my mind. But it feels like people look at the situation not as something that just a reasonable person would think. Critical thinking is like a strong word for this, by the way. Like, this is, I feel like, a strong word for what's happening when somebody says Kiwis are on sale while you're at the store. When you tell them you're going to the store. I don't even feel like critical thinking is too strong a word in my mind to use. But for some reason, a lot of people don't see this as like basic critical thinking skills. They see it as like, this is a completely legitimate style of communication. And in my mind, even different communication styles where you might require someone to be more explicit with whatever they're saying to you. I know people on the spectrum, so don't y'all lie to me in these comments and tell me that people have different communication style and just need it more bluntly. Like, that's true, but that's why I bring up a reasonable person standard, because it is unreasonable. Even like the people on the spectrum I've seen, it is at a certain point, I feel it is unreasonable the amount of bluntness or verbatimness or direct words that you need for something. I might be on the spectrum too. I'm waiting for my test. I'm waiting for my test. Key, when you gonna get yours? Never mind. Don't.
Oh, here he go.
My apologies. I shouldn't attack people. I had a falling out with my friend recently because I said, I got my test. When you gonna get yours? They got real upset at me. That's
usually not something that you just, you know what I mean, ask somebody, depending on
what are you talking about. What are you trying to say about? Well, damn, I'm sorry.
I would not just straight up ask somebody, hey, when you gonna get your test?
I didn't know the test was bad, or I wouldn't have taken it. So what do you think of me? If that's how you feel when I say it to you, what must you think of me for getting the test? Anywho, yeah, I don't want to start fights. I just wanted to explain why I have an issue with it, because I view it as reasonable person standard of thinking, whereas it seems like a lot of people see it as like, no, it is completely unreasonable to expect someone to like read into that and know that you want them to buy the Kiwis. But I'll let them finish so I can open my panel so we can hear from y'all, because she ain't giving what need to be gave.
Okay, well, that sounds unfortunate to be in the dark. Thanks for sharing. What they want you to do is be like, oh, you can't pay your light bill? Can I give you some money? You want to borrow something? So I got to do the labor of giving you the money.
My dad just died. I'm going through it right now. I'm so depressed. Oh, dang, that's crazy. Oh, you wanted me to cheer you up? Well, maybe you should say directly that you need your friends here for. So it's like, even was it Dr. Cameron? No, that's not who. It was somebody else. It was some woman talking to some man, and he was like, my wife won't let me see my kids and I need you to support me. And she was like, what kind of support do you need from me? And he was like, you need to tell me what type of support I need. I don't know. And she's like, well, I can't do anything. Like, that's different, because you've articulated that you're here to, let me gather my thoughts and think about the clip that I'm thinking about. There's a clip where a woman and a man are talking. He's saying he needs support. When she offers him support, she asks how he needs that support, but she offers it to him. And she requires him to communicate with him. For some reason, I don't find an issue with that. But for something like the woman in this video is saying, it seems more like, at the very least, you would know that they need. So like, if someone says, my dad just died, I'm so depressed, and you're their friend, you would know that they need support. So it wouldn't be like you have no idea that they need support unless they say it verbatim to you. That would be something you implicitly know. Now, a further question of what type of support you need, I think, might be valid, but just knowing that they need that, I think, is the first step that anyone should be able to make. Hopefully that was a fair comparison and you guys stuck with me to the end, because I feel like I took that nowhere. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this lady right here is not helping further the conversation. You know what I mean? Nothing against her. I mean, I don't know if you know her personally, like if y'all friends from way back in the day, but she is not helping the situation, because like I said earlier, all she's doing is venting right now about what she's gone through. And I mean, we done all been through stuff, so we ain't really trying to listen to her vent. I mean, I know I'm not. You might ask the chat and see if they want to keep hearing her, but like, all she doing is venting about her nonsense, and it's not furthering our conversation.
Okay, so you said put it on 1.5. That's what you said. I got
2.5.
it. Oh, you also, you can leave at, sorry if you feel like you're being held hostage, but I won't hold you hostage if you do have to go at any point. You can just write in the private chat or something. But I will speed it up. Sorry, I forgot completely. It's another person here.
Light bill. You can't even do the labor of asking me for said money. No, somebody please know, if y'all want something, y'all do these hints. Y'all better say that shit directly, because if you don't get my labor, if you don't get my money, the least you can do is ask about it.
And I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely different, because, you know, would he have been a jerk if he didn't pick up the Kiwis? Of course. Yes, if he was being intentionally nasty. But to say that the wife is in the clear and everything should be implied.
Would he have been a jerk if he didn't pick up the Kiwis? Of course, if he was intentionally being nasty. End. Because we already know from watching the video, he said he already knew she wanted Kiwis, but he wanted to teach her. He wasn't asking a legitimate question. The question was formed out of maliciousness and wanting to teach her a lesson, not because we just all think that his wife everything should be implied. Like, that feels like, in my mind, the video should end here, but it doesn't. So let's see.
Of course, yes, if he was being intentionally nasty. But to say that the wife is in the clear and everything should be implied, like, I'm not 100% with that either. Because what I truly think is, when I ask myself, anytime I have implied something so small, like, why was I doing that? And I was either implying it because I wasn't comfortable with this man and I wasn't comfortable with asking him things, or I'm implying things because I feel like I'm being bothersome, or I feel like I'm being worrisome. And so in that case, I feel like, how hard is it to say, hey, babe, the Kiwis are on sale. You mind give me some?
Or, babe, the Kiwis are on sale. Could you pick me up some, please? Or, babe, man, the Kiwis are on sale. You going to the store, right? Can you give me some Kiwis? Like, I just don't understand how hard it is to add that other part to it. And I think as women, well, I'm going to say as people, but I'm a woman, so I'm speaking for women. I think as women, specifically for me, I think we lean on that implied thing too much sometimes. And then we get upset when we really don't get what we want.
I think the reason when you said you were going to the store, I think the reason I said are Kiwis on sale, I think it has to do with the unhealed trauma from my father. And I could never ask him questions or he would harm me. And so now I just never ask questions. I only insinuate. I think that's why, you know, I said are the Kiwis are on sale. What do you think, Key?
What I think is that woman is equally as crazy, because ain't no way you just made those two assumptions without leaving, or those two comparisons without leaving out the biggest one that we've been talking about this whole time. She implying it because she's not comfortable with this man. Okay, well, they're married. We're not talking about somebody that just got together yesterday. And even if they're not married or whatever, I think they know each other long enough because they live together, right? And then she talking about, or it's because she's bothersome, like she's worrisome or bothersome. How about we add in the fact of, or because if I'm living with this person, together with this person, or married to this person, they understand me. This is a very simple, straightforward conversation, and we understand each other. If you tell me you're going to the store and I mention something, we have a level of understanding that's going to tell you I mentioned this for a reason. If you don't understand why I mentioned this, then you ask me why I mentioned it, and I will explain to you. I mentioned it because I want you to give me these Kiwis. But we got a level of understanding, and if she didn't think they had that level of understanding, I don't think that she would have left it for implication. I don't think that she would have left it like that. Oh, Kiwis are on sale. If she didn't think they understand each other, I don't think she would have left it that way. So let's not try to divert around the fact that this man didn't understand her, or he understood her, but chose to make it a point to go around that just to be right about the situation. I don't know what this lady talking about, but I'm telling you right now, the implications, it's there. It needs to be there, because that right there will also work on, and I'm going to go off on it, but that will work on and build understanding between two people. You know what I mean? Like if they understand each other, I don't have to tell you every single little thing all the time. Like that to me builds between two people. Like it helps two people grow. But that's just all I'm gonna say about that.
I think it's important to bring up a lot of women are brought up to talk so her point about women being taught to feminine fit and like approach stuff in a certain way, I agree with. It feels unusual for this topic, and I don't understand the utility of being like, for a Black woman to be like, we as women, we need to be more assertive, more aggressive, more direct. It feels like there are counterintuitive messages being told to Black women in particular about being loud, aggressive, demanding, or whatever. But then also, if you're not those things, then I don't know, you're seen as like a non-effective communicator. When we're talking about communication, specifically when it comes to Black women's approach in conversation and how it tends to be judged. It feels counterintuitive to me, and I don't understand why anyone would. I don't understand why someone would have her position for this topic. I think I do understand why someone might have the position outside of this topic, that as women we've been, well, not we, but as women you've been taught to approach things in a docile way and that you should in an assertive way. But I think I'll agree with you here, Key. Like the last woman, this seems like a projection onto this conversation in particular, where a man admits that he's intentionally being malicious towards his wife so as not to intentionally misunderstand her when he already knows what she's talking about, but wants to teach her a lesson. Their critique feels misplaced here for me. I agree. We have some people in the back, so I'll try to let this get through quickly.
And do I still imply things? Yes, I do. And usually it's about something big. And again, it's when I'm not comfortable or when I feel like I'm bothersome. Like if it's my birthday, I may not tell you exactly what I want you to do, but I'm going to sprinkle something in so you're somewhere in the vicinity, but I'm not explicitly direct. No.
I do still imply things, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I feel like she's not completely in the clear, and I don't feel like he's completely 100% correct either. I think you just have to figure out why you're implying things, and if you're expecting people to read your mind and then getting upset when they don't completely understand. And this is just a simple Kiwi situation, but let's think about other things in our life where we are using that implied thing as a crutch. I think we could all do better and not be so upset when we don't get what we want if we were not specific.
I don't like when people do that though. This was like one of my main issues that I've been talking about the whole video is like, it's something simple that you should be. The reason it's being implied is because we know implicitly what's going on here. This is like, I don't have all day. Clearly that means you need to hurry up. You better wash them dishes or else. Clearly that means you about to be punished by your parents if you don't wash the dishes. Like this is not rocket science. So I don't understand why people keep zooming out of this conversation and looking at things that I feel like are unrelated. Because I generally feel like people are direct, including women, I think are direct about wants and needs generally. And I think this conversation specifically is about Kiwis, obviously, but also represents a conversation about things that should be implicit, but because men, like, I don't know, act stupid, it's something that you now have to do a lot of mental labor to make up for them just seemingly not wanting to understand something that's very easy. But it's fine. Well, it's not, but I'm just trying to get through it.
And what we wanted.
Real quick, if you go over your homeboy's crib, right, y'all chilling, and he's like, hey, bro, there's some Coronas in the fridge.
Hey, Key, is that you?
Nah, definitely skip him. Definitely skip him. We already talked about that. Nah, he gonna say the exact same thing. But hear him out to make sure that he on the same page and he don't go off and say nothing crazy. Because men are apt to go off and say crazy things. So hear him out.
Let me catch the men mogging y'all the women at the beginning of the video were excellent too, I think.
Do you think he's just wanting you to know that he has beer in his fridge? Or is he offering you a beer? Right. So when your wife or your girlfriend is like, oh, you're going to the grocery store? The Kiwis are on sale. Do you think she just wants you to know this random miscellaneous piece of information? Or is she telling you, hey, pick up some Kiwis? Quickly. Okay. Exactly what you want.
We're not going to listen to the people who agree with us. We're here to think critically.
So, if you can understand.
Agree, though. I agree.
Because I don't want to lie.
I need y'all to tell me if I'm wrong if I don't buy Kiwi.
I'm going to be honest because I don't want to lie. I don't think this is clear communication, but I do put this in the same box as when you're driving with your girl and she says, oh, this restaurant sounds good right now. That should be the light in your head to say, oh, she's hungry. Let me figure out what she wants to eat. Once again, it's not.
Oh, when people say this isn't clear communication, maybe they mean verbally specific. Like maybe they want the exact words. Like instead of saying, like, how was your day? My day was fine. They want you to be like, I'm upset because I had a bad day. Like when people say you're not a clear communicator, I generally think people who say that are not clear communicators themselves because they want verbatim language.
Hey, before you continue, I am actually interested in what he about to say because he already said something kind of conflicting that threw me as soon as he started. Okay. He said that his girl, they driving in the car and she specifically said, this restaurant sounds good right now. And then he had to go back and say, let me figure out what she wants to eat. You don't have to do any more figuring out. If she already told you this restaurant sounds good and you see that restaurant anywhere in your city, that's probably where you need to go. So what is there to figure out?
Okay.
But please hear him out because he might say something else better.
You expect me to know just because we in the car driving and we both hungry, talk about how hungry we are, and you say, you know, it would be good right now. Some Ruth Chris. I've never been there, but I hear it's good. And I say, okay, let's go to McDonald's because nobody told me where they wanted to.
Like that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. It don't make sense. So we got to hear him out.
clear communication, but that's her hinting that she's hungry, hence her hinting that she wants a kiwi. And if you actually care about your spouse, you're going to ask those follow-up questions to get clear communication on what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and all those different things. So actually, I think he's wrong for two things. I think he's wrong for just not buying the $2 to $3 kiwi, and I think he's wrong for not following up to get a full understanding of what her comment meant. It's that easy.
Yeah, all their points are valid, especially the great Tabby. I really loved what she said in her speech, because that could also be the case. Because what she said happens to a lot of women.
Okay, we will not listen to the agrees. We will only listen to the in the middles and the negatives, unless you're one of the people behind the stage. So I'll save her for the end. Here, I'll play a thing for the after show since I see people in the back. Actually, no, let's just make it a part of the regular show. It's fine. Jay Chan, you've been in the back. You said you think that he is communicating extremely well. You were saying in the comments, and that she is a poor communicator. I would be very interested to know your thoughts.
Petty, don't misquote me. Don't do that.
Okay. Welcome.
Okay, so thank you and good night to everyone. Good night, Key. All right, so here's my thing. I think perhaps I'm looking at it through another lens. And forgive me for my voice right now, I'm very stuffy. But okay, so first of all, I'm neurodivergent. Also, my daughter has receptive language disorder. It makes it difficult for her to be able to understand receptive language. So if I'm saying something to her, it may not be as easy for her to understand the way that most people use a lot of inferences and make a lot of implications in their everyday language. And I feel like in a lot of the examples that you were using, you were also able to use nonverbal clues to be able to make a correlation to how the person was feeling. For example, like when you just said, oh, the person is huffy and they're like, I'm fine. But you can see in their body language as well that, oh, okay, this person is clearly not fine. And Homie in the video, because I don't know his name, but um, he admitted to knowing what his wife wanted, and he still went out and got it. But I feel like we're implying a lot in the video because there's a lot of information that's missing. For example, is this something that they argue about regularly? Like, do they have disputes like, babe, I would prefer if you communicate things to me directly. That's just the way that my mind works best. And again, I'm just viewing it from a different lens, and I'm sorry for talking so much. But I'm just saying, like, not everybody has that same filter that most people that are neurotypical have. For me, it's really easy. I excel in school, right? I'm great there. But when it comes to receiving certain social cues, they're absolutely lost on me. Like, I can't tell if somebody is flirting. I can't tell if like they're just things that are difficult for me to be able to process that might be really easy for someone else to see. So that's why I'm like, not too much on the communication styles. Like, I think they're just having a difference in their communication style, but I could be wrong, and I'm willing to learn.
Well, they do have, there's one part I agree with, and that's we don't know everything from this small clip, and we don't know their relationship. I did speak on their relationship, but I spoke from a place of not knowing. They also do have an entire hour and 30-minute long episode from that I have not watched yet, but I will. When I watch that, I'm definitely going to give some more insight on their relationship from an educated place after I watch it, of course. But outside of that, do you believe that they have language disorder?
You said, do I believe that who has a language disorder?
The man in that video.
I don't know. And I'm not even saying that to be funny, but it's not easy to be able to tell. Like, if somebody speaks to my daughter, they wouldn't be able to tell right off the bat.
I'm not familiar. I know about it. I thought it was called language disorder. I'm not sure.
So there are different types. Hers is specifically receptive. You could have mixed, where there is where it's like receptive and expressive. She did have a difficulty with expressive when she was younger, but I had gotten her like into programs for that. But
So I'm not familiar with how that affects someone, so I can't speak to that a lot. I do know it affects a small percent of the population. I'm not sure what percent, if that percent is meaningful or if it's negligible. I don't know. I don't know much about it at all, so I can't speak much to that. But I don't know if I would consider it. I don't know if I would consider it reasonable. When I say a reasonable man standard, I'm trying to think of the man or woman or non-binary, they, them, to my right and my left, the average person in America of adult age, I would say. I expect certain standards to be met reasonably. Let me look up the exact term. It might not be reasonable man standard. I know it's a legal term, but there's another specific thing that I'm thinking about. But it's in the title of the name. Would a reasonable, essentially the question is whether or not a reasonable person would have acted similarly or differently in a given situation.
It's called the reasonable person standard. That's it.
Okay.
Just not just the legal one, but the all-encompassing. Let's just assume it is. I don't know that I would consider it reasonable for me to have to explain. For Kiwis are on sale in a conversation where you're saying that you're going to to Costco, and I immediately respond to you with that. I don't know that a reasonable person would say, we don't know what that means in this conversation.
No, and that's the thing. I think that we're having like two different conversations about this one topic, because he asked, would he be wrong? Everybody told him yes, he would be wrong, right? We can all agree on that, I believe. I think where the difference comes in is that he is now trying to convey the way that he communicates best after that. Was the way that he did it polite? Absolutely not. And I think that perhaps also that should be a conversation for a different time, because he was very clear on the fact that he did realize what it was that she was referring to.
Well, I don't know if we disagree then. I think I don't know if Keith said this, but I'm pretty sure I said this earlier. Maybe I didn't. But the idea that there are different communication styles and that you might find one that's more effective for you, I understand. So you might be the type of person who, we brought up neurodivergent people. Maybe you're the type of person who has difficulty reading social cues. So regular conversation and sort of implicit knowledge that we all know reasonably might not be so implicit to certain people's. And I don't think it's bad, even if you're not neurodivergent and you just need more explicit conversation because that works better for you. I don't necessarily think it's bad or a problem for someone to say, hey, I need you to tell me that you want me to go and get the Kiwis just for my clarification. Even the woman in the video who we strongly disagreed with, at one point she said something like, oh, I was with a partner and I told them you can't just say stuff out loud, you have to tell me directly to get it. And it seemed like she approached the conversation, at least in her recollection, in a way that we would find appropriate for a person to do. So I don't think we disagree with you, actually.
That's the thing. I don't think that we necessarily disagree. I think where we had disagreed was just like I wasn't sure. Again, I'm viewing it through my filter of having difficulty, you know, perceiving certain social cues at times. Um, I feel like there should have been clarifying questions if you might have felt confused, or in those type of circumstances if you do feel confused. But also if you knew, just go and get the damn Kiwis. Like, it's unnecessary.
Okay.
But I do have a question as well for you, Petty, real quick. So I just want to flip the script a bit. So if now he has asked the wife more than 5 times, hey, I really, really need for you to communicate such and such to me directly, but the wife continues to use, I guess, implications and insinuating behaviors throughout the course of their relationship. Would she still be considered to be a good communicator? These are genuine questions, by the way. I'm asking.
I would say, so for him, in that scenario you just posed, I'd say for him, death, firing squad.
Wait.
I would still consider her a good communicator in that case. I don't know why he would raise his voice, or even if he doesn't, question a woman 5 times. Clearly he's a bad communicator if he has to ask 5 times. Like, let's just be real. So he didn't. Did he tell her directly, hey, in the future, for every future conversation, not just 1 or 2, and then you go back, for every single future conversation that we have regarding something that needs to be done by me, requested, but did he communicate that effectively, verbatim, exactly the way that it should? That would be my question about him communicating it those 5 times, because we just can't tell. We just don't know. If he
Okay,
tells
but
her,
that's the thing, though. Everything doesn't
she
need
would.
to be verbatim. I don't think that he was saying that. I think he was saying just direct. There's a difference between direct and verbatim and having to spell every single little thing out. I think that there is a difference, Ben.
But
Serious.
that's one of the crux of my argument, is that people are taking
Mhm.
things that are implicit, small things that we all like. The example I used was, there's a beer in the fridge. I don't have to tell you, yes, you can open the fridge. Yes, you can open the beer. Yes, you can swallow it. Yes, you can die. Like, these things are too small and too implicit for me to have to say this verbatim every conversation. That's what I believe is happening here. If it were something that weren't like that, then I might be more inclined to agree, but I don't think that's what this is. Chinese, what I mean?
Okay, fair
What did I
enough.
do? I'm sorry. What did I do? Did I do a racism? I'm very sorry. I didn't know. I didn't speak in Chinese. I don't think so. I apologize.
What did I miss? Did I miss the Chinese?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. Or proud. I'm not sure if this is an accusation or praise, but thank you. Or I'm sorry. And I love it, or I'll do better. My apologies. You were saying, I lost track. That comment threw me off a lot. I don't know why. Sorry. I focused on that too much.
Hello. No, I was just genuinely trying to find out, like, if you do communicate to somebody, what it is that you need in terms of communication. Is that an issue? Because I think that a lot of people were also taking issue with the fact that, because I said, like, he could ask clarifying questions, but some people were saying, like, there shouldn't have to be any question. But I'm just saying in general. I'm not even talking about this one situation in
Oh,
particular. I'm just like,
So the context is he asked her this 5 times and she still doesn't do it after that. Is she a good communicator? Generally, I would probably say generally, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know much about her. I would assume she can at least communicate reasonably. It seems like generally, I would say that he can't communicate reasonably generally, or I think he can. He's just not doing it for her specifically. Like I don't think he does this at work or anything. But if he needs someone to say everything to him verbatim, stuff that should be implicit, but he needs it to be explicit. And when I say stuff that should be implicit, I mean stuff that a reasonable person would implicitly know, i.e., yes, you can open the beer, drink the beer, digest the stuff that you should implicitly know. If he needs it to be explicit, I would call him a bad communicator generally. For their relationship, she might be a bad communicator for him specifically, but that's because he's a bad communicator and needs specific the type of communication he needs. I would feel like you need to be an exceptional communicator to do, or at least similar to him and communicate in his style. So not necessarily exceptional, but that seems beyond reasonable. Or you have to have poor communication, the same style that he does, and be able to dip and dive in that.
Okay, I just had some questions about that.
But
In regards to
what
what you were saying, like with the work thing, because I know I'm not doing anything outside of my job description, right? So
But you're doing that intentional. You are doing that. No, it feels like when you say I'm not doing anything out of my job description, you know that your boss is coming over and insinuating that he wants you to do something extra, and you're choosing not to.
no. But what I'm saying, I was going to say like I'm not doing anything unless now the boss asks me in particular. Okay, Jade, can you get these folders from next door? Like it doesn't say that in your job description, but you wouldn't be like, oh well, it doesn't say that in my job description. I'm not gonna do it. You know, like that's what I was thinking in regards to this scenario. But I don't know. Again, I don't know.
That's malicious. We know that we're being. I don't think it's bad, by the way. But the quiet quitting or whatever, we know that bosses are requiring us to do stuff outside of our job description, and we're choosing to not do it. It's not like we don't understand what they're communicating to us, which is why we're not doing it because, oh, you just didn't say to do that. So I didn't like, no, it feels we're doing that intentionally. We know what's
No,
happening.
but I don't feel like that's with malice, though. I feel like that's a boundary, right? No, am I tweaking?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just like a bootlicker. It could be. I love
No.
working 8
I
hours.
genuinely want to know. Because I don't, I
What would
don't
be
in
valid?
relationships. I wouldn't want to be doing things that I deem to be malicious. But I do also like when people tell me things in a way that it's easy for me to understand. Like
So malice, when I looked at the definition, malice says the desire or intention to do evil or ill will. I don't think it's ill will.
that's dramatic.
But I think it seems like malicious compliance though, does it not? Like my boss told me I wasn't leaving work until I washed all the windows. So now I'm on my 160th hour this week. I have all this overtime. Like this is malicious compliance. I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying malicious in the way I'm using it, I think would imply that we know what's going on, even though we're presenting like we don't know, but not necessarily evil. Oh, I can't leave work until I wash all the windows. Guess who's getting 75 hours of overtime this week? Malicious?
Okay.
No, sir. That's not what it is. Intentional is what you mean. I mean, yeah, I'll say intentional, not malicious.
Okay, but I also feel like in relationships, you are intentional in the opposite direction, where you go out of your way to do things for the people that you care about, where you try to a lot of the times infer positive things, even though that may not necessarily be the case. Does that make sense?
What would a positive inference be about the Kiwis are on sale?
Well, what he did, because he did go get the Kiwis, but he felt upset that she didn't communicate it in the way that he deemed to be most appropriate for his understanding or whatever.
When okay, well, I should have
mm.
asked this. When you say positive inference, what do you mean?
Oh, it's literally not the correct word for it, but I'm assuming that you would make a for example, I always use my kids as an example for something. But if your kid says, um, oh, let's use the example that you gave earlier when my daughter comes home sometimes from school and she's like, school was good. But I can see like she's throwing her bag she's throwing her bag down on the floor and she's stomping up the stairs. I'm like, okay, clearly school wasn't good. Let me go and check on her. Let me
Okay, so
see what's going on.
so
So I would
positive
ask
inference.
clarifying questions.
So positive inference is like mom said, depress them dishes, and I infer that what she means by that is wash the dishes. I do that. That's what that means. Not necessarily you are doing something positive, like
Yeah, not that you are doing something positive, but you put your, I guess, like a more positive spin on things. Like, okay, I can see my mom is tired. She must have just said that out of frustration, whatever. Let me go do the dishes. Does
what
that make
y'all
sense?
doing in the chat in the link right there. Sorry, Jade.
No, it's okay.
But okay, yes, I do think we make positive inferences on things that are implicit. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Sorry, I had to stop you so I can see what you meant by positive inference.
No, it's fine. I was just saying that I think that that's something that we do for the people that we care about in order to kind of lessen the emotional burden. I think, like, I really feel like communication goes both ways. It's a give and a take. And when, like, Key was saying, when you do spend a lot of time in communication with somebody that you care about, in my personal opinion, you get to know their communication style. So I feel like these two people probably should have never been together if this is going to be a big issue for both of them, either way, because clearly nobody is willing to give or take in either direction.
Oh, I'm gonna let this marinate. And I'm gonna come back to you. Play this.
All right. I actually have to step down. I have to go and do something for my daughter. But I just wanted to ask that question because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, I don't know. I just wanted to ask like clarifying questions. Things make a little bit more sense to me that way. So thank you.
Well, thank you for joining. Have a good day.
You as well. Have a good night, everyone.
Play this. Thank you. Welcome, play this. Sorry for making you wait. But you were saying you had something to say about Cam Newton. You didn't like what I was saying about Dr. Bryant's degree.
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I didn't care about that. I looked her up while that live was going because I can't see a therapist who talks that much. Like she talks so much. How could she? Yeah,
I won't comment further on it.
I peeped
you
that.
Can say sorry, but I don't.
My comment is about the woman who brought up women being conditioned to behave a certain way. I don't think she was projecting. I think this guy is an a-hole and he might be conditioning his wife to behave that way. Sometimes women are felt like anything they ask their husband to do is an imposition. So then they're trying to ask for something or get their needs met in a roundabout way. And I would say that woman was projecting, except for the fact that this guy specifically did this on purpose, knew what she wanted. And then to the point of the woman who did the stitch, why is he still talking about it? Because he feels like now that he has negged her privately, he's going to do it publicly on a podcast. I think this guy is a mentally abusive jerk, and her asking him that way might be because he makes it seem like everything she does is an imposition.
Wouldn't this be him conditioning her? Okay, pause.
Mm-hmm.
You believe he's conditioning her to believe everything that she does not say explicitly is something implicit, like
No,
everything.
I believe
Not
he's
just,
conditioning her to act like when basically that if she asks him or makes requests of him, and I say request, not even to demand, that
Mhm.
it could be an imposition, meaning this he has to go out of his way. So she asked him something, or she made a statement, right? Contextual statement, and he knew what she wanted. But instead of saying, "Oh, babe, definitely I'll get you some Kiwis," he took that moment to correct her or to instruct her on how to say something instead of just getting her what she needed when he knew what it was. That is a way to make her feel like, oh, I asked him that wrong. So, or brought that up wrong. So I'm just saying, I've seen this happen. So then the next time she wants to get him to do something for her as small as picking up fruit, then she's going to double check and triple check and be doing this thing in her head around how do I say this so I can have my needs met? Because even though he was willing to meet her needs and knew what it was, he wanted to make sure that he took a dig at her. And then he needs to bring that dig up publicly on a podcast.
That's an interesting perspective. I think I was initially confused because you said you agreed with the woman about conditioning. But in my mind, she was talking about women being conditioned to be passive. And she wanted to push back against that and say we should be assertive and outgoing and blah, 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 blah. So I was thinking it more of a societal way, not necessarily as an individual, your husband or boyfriend conditioning you to doubt yourself whenever you require something that should be implicit instead of just requiring that. Now you'll doubt yourself and ask explicitly something that should be implicit. Am I understanding you right? Like instead of being like the dishes need to be washed, she's going to ask him about like the whatever the smallest thing that it is that she needs done. She's going to ask him directly every single time.
Or she has asked him things directly and it hasn't gone well. So now instead of asking directly, she's hinting around. And even if she hints around, he gets the hint. But now he's still gonna play mind games with her. It is a way of tricking somebody into submission or making them rethink the most simple things when in reality they were right. He knew what she wanted. He just wanted to correct her.
I don't know that I can prove or disprove that. That is an interesting theory. I don't think I would reject it.
I wouldn't even hold on, Petty. I'm gonna interrupt you. All right, I know you don't like to be interrupted, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't think that it needs to be proved or disproved. I think the proof is kind of right there. Not to completely agree with what she said, but I completely agree with it. Here's my deal: if he does this in all facets of their relationship, so every single time she has ever implied anything, he's like, hey, listen, I know you implied this, but could you ask this directly? It would be one thing, because then he's just trying to build a different form of communication. Now, there's different ways to go about it besides, I don't know what he's trying to do, blast her publicly on this podcast. There's different ways to go about it. But if he's doing it in every single situation, that's one thing, to change up the way they communicate. But I guarantee, and I know this because I'm a man myself, I guarantee if she would have walked in there and said anything along the lines referring to her and him sexually, there would have been no questions. He wouldn't have stopped her and been like, hey, I know you just said that, but I'm going to need you to ask that in question for him, or I'm going to need you to ask me to do something with you. That would have never taken place. You know what I mean? He would have understood exactly what she said and things would have progressed from there. So to do it in this one instance, I think is what makes this such a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, he just made a very, very big deal out of this one instance. Is he doing this all the time to change the communication, or is it just this one instance? And I think the majority of the world can kind of see, based on both of their level of understanding and then him admitting he understood, it's just this one instance. I'm telling you right now, that relationship, and it ain't mine to judge, we're going to see them get a divorce. That ain't going to last long.
Well, if Emma Dilemma is to be believed, I think it's super obvious he don't like his wife. At the very least, we can all agree there. I don't disagree with your theory. I was saying something like this earlier when I said this is I would guess, even though I don't know their relationship and I only have that clip to go off of, I would guess that this might be something that they argue about frequently when it comes to communication, where she's communicating something implicit and he makes it a point to something blah blah blah, you should communicate it to me and tell me directly. I don't think I took it the step further where you did, where it's a tool possibly to use for what I feel like is being described as weaponized incompetence, where now Mhm.
It's not necessarily weaponized incompetence. I'll have to look up to see if there is a psychological term for that, but it's almost walking on eggshells. So I can't ask him this way. I have to ask him that way. Because my thing is, what is the purpose of correcting the communication style when it was effective? You know what she
May I-
wanted. So what is the
may I-
purpose of correcting the communication style when it was effective? Then what's the purpose of bringing it up again? And then my third question is, does he eat kiwis? If he eats kiwis, get kiwis. If you are both eating them, what don't you understand? So that if I was on the podcast, I would have been like, do you eat kiwis? Because if he didn't, if he does, that should have been all that she needed to say.
Okay, Key, your prediction was correct earlier. You should buy a lottery ticket.
May I?
Do you eat kiwis? Then what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I agree there. You gave me something to think about. I do think your theory is intriguing. So the first caller, I think me and the first caller actually ended up agreeing. There was just miscommunication. And I think I would mostly agree with you, but I'll have to think about it a little bit offline. So Purple Lover, it's up to you to disagree.
thanks for hearing me out. I'm going to drop Petty, but
Thank you for
great
joining, by the
conversation.
way.
And
I'm
thank
going
you.
to actually take it further than what Play just said. The
Okay.
reason why he responded the way that he did was because he wanted to make sure that the conversation would be labor intensive enough that she would never ask him to do anything for her again.
I somewhat
He wants to
agree.
make-
Yes.
He wants to make every time she wants to ask him to do something, he wants to make it so labor intensive that she will just say it's not even worth me talking to him about it and won't do it. And right along with what Key said, he's well on his road to divorce because for one, he doesn't like this woman, which is why he doesn't want her asking him to do not a darn thing in the house.
Yep.
And his resentment, and you talking about you don't know about their relationship. We do know about his relationship from what the other men on the panel said. Why is there such vitriol from you? Why can't you be nice to your wife? So they clearly have her other experiences of him pulling these same types of stunts. And then he took it a step further to make sure that she would never ask him again by trying to publicly shame her for asking him in the first place. That's what the whole taking it to the podcast was about.
So I don't disagree with either of you, but I brought up the word. Well, you said you would look for it, play this, and I know you were limited on time, but you said you'd look for the psychological term. If you find it, you can put it in the chat, the private chat, or in the public chat, or the Discord, or email, or something. But what it sounds like to me is weaponized incompetence, like the describing of he's making this as exhausting for her as possible. To me sounds like the most common example of weaponized incompetence I hear about is doing dishes, and after the dishes are done, there's still gunk on them and stuff on them, and like you ask your husband to do the dishes and he does them, but he does it so poorly every time. Eventually you stop asking because it's exhausting to go back over him and blah 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 blah. I think that's what's being done here in some degree. He's making this conversation difficult. I agree with you, but what I would call that is weaponized incompetence, like conditioning her to believe that every time she expects him to do the littlest of things, he's not going to do it, or it's going to become an argument and blah, blah, blah. And eventually she stops asking and she just takes on all of that labor herself. This to me sounds like weaponized incompetence, but you guys, well, I don't know if you're doing this, Purple Lover, but it's being
Oh,
called.
it definitely is, because the whole thing of it is really Prince Petty is he wants a white slave, and he wants her to do all the work. He did not appreciate the fact that she even had the audacity to ask him to get anything, even though he's going to Costco, and even though he's going to benefit from whatever she does with those Kiwis.
Operant conditioning, learning process that uses rewards and punishments to. Is this that thing where they had all the monkeys in a ladder and they had like a banana at the top of the ladder, but every time the monkey would go up, they would smack it, and eventually they would put in new monkeys, and the new monkey would try to go up and they would smack it. The other monkeys would like beat it up and stop it from going up to get the banana because they knew they would all get smacked if somebody went up. And eventually it was all new monkeys in there, and no monkeys had ever been like smacked, but they wouldn't go up the ladder to get the banana because they had been conditioned or something. I forgot how the experiment went exactly, but that's what I remember. Or if it's even real. I don't know if that's real or just an example people use. But is that what it is? He's trying to condition her against this behavior so she don't ask him for
That's
stuff.
exactly what it is.
That wouldn't be weaponized incompetence. I don't know if that's what you were saying, play this. I mean, well, there was, in my mind, there's still weaponized incompetence in the examples we talked about. But
it's
that would
definitely,
also, yeah, that would be different, I guess.
It's definitely him programming her to make sure that she doesn't do it again. And that's really what it is. He doesn't want her to ask him to do anything. But yet, and still, if the roles was reversed and she was going to Costco, he would fully expect her to get him whatever he wanted when he asked for it.
No, I feel like if he gets home from work and it's not a hot meal, I feel like he wouldn't even need to call and say I'm hungry. He would expect it to be done because that would just be normal for dinner to be after work. Like I feel like I personally feel like these men just playing in our face. Learned helplessness. Yeah, maybe I mentioned the wrong thing. Sorry. Well, is that what's going? Let me look up learned helplessness real quick. Is that what's happening? Helplessness. No, I don't think so. That doesn't sound right. Maybe I used the wrong example, y'all. Sorry. Someone repeatedly experienced a negative situation and believes they are unable to change it. I mean, kind of. This leads to a passive response even when there are opportunities to change the situation. Is there an opportunity to change it, though, if the man is like the thing that needs to change and he's unwilling? Therapy? I don't know. So, I don't know. I feel like learned helplessness. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling operant conditioning. I'm feeling weaponized incompetence. I'm feeling all three. I'm feeling all three in some degree. I'm feeling all three. So thank you, Purple Lover. I appreciate that. I actually appreciated everyone who came up today. This is why we know the difference between Black women and Black men, statistically speaking, as far as like literacy rates, education stuff. And I'm not exempt from that. Sometimes I need a Black woman to balance out my GED with like associates, bachelors, master. Like I need something to balance it out. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all coming up here, even if y'all don't have that degrees. For some reason, y'all have the talk to back it up. So I do appreciate that. I assume y'all just have those degrees and that y'all are all very smart. But if you don't, y'all sound like it. So I do appreciate everyone who came up today. I appreciate you as well, Key. I didn't lump you in. I didn't say we have GEDs. I just said I do because I don't know your education. I just assume that you're I don't know what you are. You could be a high school diploma, you could be a master's. I have no idea. Bachelor's, associates equivalent, Job Corps. There's so many things that we could be. So many
I'm gonna
things.
just tell you right now, without seeing the papers, it ain't gonna matter. It ain't gonna matter what I am, because the way I talk without seeing me or knowing my voice and knowing anything about me, I mean, it's just a country as hell fucking talk. You know what I mean? Everybody who's from south of like Kansas, you know what I mean, sound like they fucking ride horses to school and shit. So you know, the education level doesn't
See,
matter.
this how
It's
this
simply based on your ability to articulate. If you can get out whatever you have to say fluently and get it out at a level of understanding where everybody can understand you. You know what I mean? And you don't got to talk like a toddler, but also don't try to talk like you talking to CEO of Apple or nothing like that. Just get out what you got to say, get it out fluently. You know what I mean? And don't fumble over your words. Your education level really doesn't play a huge part in that. You know what I mean? Just being able to speak and speaking in general will help you out with that. But I do have at least a GED.
All right, we're gonna give it to you.
Thank you for having me, Prince Petty, by the way.
Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. You have a good night.
You too now. Bye-bye.
So I do appreciate your takes today. I was genuinely surprised. I thought that we were going to agree in opinion since we talked about this a little earlier today briefly. I was not expecting my opinion to be expanded. I was expecting to be like rigid in my opinion, but I think the women as well as you actually expanded my initial views a little bit. So I do appreciate getting to exercise my brain muscle instead of losing brain cells. This weekend, Pop the Balloon Part 3. So we everything that we gained today, we gonna lose this weekend. Every brain cell we gained today, we gonna lose. But until then, yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you here. And if the people remember you, then y'all can let me know in the comments if you feel like he has improved, gotten worse, stayed the same. And if you don't know him from previously, then well, they was in the comments saying your girl must be happy and they know you a good father, and they was all types of praise, and you didn't see it, but they was all types of praise in the comments. It was 2 comments, I think, that I can remember.
Well, I do appreciate everybody, but just to leave y'all with a little snippet, don't forget that I mentioned R. Kelly. So kind of balance out what you say now. You can give me the praise, but don't forget that I mentioned R. Kelly. So y'all.
Why did you mention R. Kelly actually? Why did you mention R. Kelly actually?
Hey, listen. Okay, I'm not even going to get on R. Kelly's case. All right. If you can fix your lips to say that R. Kelly did not make good music, whether you agree with R. Kelly as a being and his ridiculousness, because I don't agree with it whatsoever. But if you can say that he didn't make good music, to me that sounds a little crazy.
Yeah,
That
but
sounds a little absurd.
when people talk about R. Kelly in 2024, do you think music like when you hear Bill Cosby, are you thinking about, oh yeah, the Cosby Show? Is that what comes to mind? Like even if you think
I
that,
feel like
even
that's
if
a
you
little bit different. I feel like that's a little bit different because I don't go back and watch the Cosby Show over and over. You know what I mean? Martin, I go back and watch Martin. That's one of those classic shows that I watch all day long, every day. But the Cosby Show is not one that I just go turn on my TV like, yep, I'm finna sit down and watch this. But when I turn on R&B on my Sunday afternoons when I'm cleaning, you know what I mean, or when I get off of work or whatever, and I'm just vibing at the house, just chilling, you know what I mean? Got me a little Hennessy in a tiny cup, you know what I mean? I can turn on some R. Kelly and just chill. I have no ill intentions or thoughts about what's going on or none of that. I'm just listening and
yeah,
vibing.
but
You
that's
know
the
what I mean?
thing. There's like if I turn on R. Kelly, it's not who is it? It's either maybe it's the baby or maybe it's Chris Brown. It might be Chris Brown because I would be lying to say there's no Chris Brown in my playlist. Understood. People do bad things, and unfortunately for male artists in particular, I feel like it is more difficult for me to find a male artist who has not done anything than it is for me to it's too, my playlist would be empty. Even the women now, because Cardi B said drugging and doing something to men. Nicki Minaj is out here silencing victims of R, saying they deserve it, and supporting her husband, who's it's I understand the concept. of like trying to listen to music and separate the artist, but I find it unusual. I don't think I've ever come on my platform or even in my conversations with my friends. Yeah, Nicki Minaj's husband and Megan's Law and all that and that stuff he did with that child, but we gonna pretend like Super Bass wasn't like I don't that strikes me as unusual. I cannot lie. As an unusual approach for conversation around artists who have history of abuse. That strikes me as unusual.
I'm not gonna lie, if you was talking, I didn't hear like half of what you said. I hit a bad service area.
All right. Thank you guys for joining. We'll have a quick after show. Key, you're not required to stay. These are usually short, but not always. And it is getting late, so I understand if you're busy. I'm gonna play my outro and we can have a brief after show. Thank you, everyone.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed.
You know what? Actually, that just reminded me. We listen to TD Jakes every day on the podcast. Well, this isn't a podcast, on the channel. So, but did TD Jakes do anything? I don't think he did anything. He was just. Was he? I don't know the situation exactly actually about TD Jakes. I just remember him wearing really tight stuff that made him look like Mr. Brown off of Meet the Browns with Tyler Perry. And also, I'm pretty sure he might have had some gay stuff going on, which would be controversial for a pastor. But I don't know that he did something bad. So actually, yeah, I think we're good to listen to him. TD Capes. Yeah, that's what I heard. And I heard he was with Diddy, but I didn't hear it like he was abusing people with Diddy. I heard it like he was. Anyway, like y'all know how Birdman used to be on Lil Wayne in them pictures and videos. Y'all remember that? And the world just collectively, for some reason, didn't talk about it. Y'all like that. That's how I see TD Jakes, as like how Lil Wayne was. So yeah. Anywho, memes. We're gonna look at one or two at most. Yeah. I had some stuff I wanted to talk about from the beginning of the stream, but I didn't know it was gonna be 3 hours on Kiwis. I did not know. It could have been shorter. This live stream could have been shorter. Or maybe I was just upset and needed to vent.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I work night shift, so the longer this live stream went on, the less work time that I have. So I'm not mad about it dragging out at all. Now, as far as everybody else, you know what I mean, dragging out their time maybe, but this is cutting into all the time I got to spend working in the morning.
I got a 7 a.m. sharp tomorrow. I'm behooved at the time that I chose to stay up. And I drank this tea. I don't think this has caffeine. But I've been worried lately because people are saying even the caffeine-free tea keeps you awake or something. And I didn't Google it, so I don't know what that's about, but I'm scared. Why don't you just watch YouTube like the rest of us do at work? Or I guess you're doing that
because
now.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I could have watched YouTube, or I could just be on this, you know what I mean, this live right here. And, you know, I mean, this live is a little more fun than watching YouTube. You know what I mean?
Understood. It's been a while. So let me ask. Do you know what Pop the Balloon is? Because I asked Steven and he has no idea.
I have no clue.
I love my friend group. I really do. I like how untainted y'all are. It's like y'all are pure and not. I feel as though I am playing in like there's a pile of garbage outside, like there's filth, and every day I go out on the internet and look for it and play in it. And whenever I'm like, do y'all want to play in the filth too? Y'all are like, I don't know what you're talking about that right there. I don't know nothing about that right there. I don't know. And that makes me very proud that I'm like the bad one, and you guys are like not touched by. I like that I could say Kevin Samuels, and y'all like, what is that? Who is that? I don't know. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Not anymore. That was 3 years ago. I'm well versed on who Kevin Samuels is now. I've actually seen a few Kevin Samuels videos.
You gonna be in 2027. Hey, somebody's got to do something about this Trump guy running for president. You can't beat Kamala. You can't. I can't wait to see what y'all are like in Twitter. Well, you now you know. Now you know. Not in 2024. Now you know. Probably before then. I'm just joking. Here's what I'll do though, since we're joking. No, please go ahead. You unmuted.
No, I was gonna say I hope you heard what I said. I'm not gonna lie, I keep getting phone calls. That's what really is messing up my transmission. So I keep having to ignore people's phone calls. But when you're on like the phone, you know what I mean, and you get a phone call, it interrupts my stream.
You just ignoring them work calls.
Yeah, I don't be answering my phone unless it's something important.
Security, they're breaking in. I'm on this thing. I don't think you work for security, but that would be funny. This is what we're gonna do. How do you feel about chicken sandwiches? You don't have to answer. I'll just show you.
And I can put it in a bun. And I can put it in a bun.
Aww. I don't know if that music is copyright. Somebody said, why is her chicken sandwich moving? I thought it was a fried pork chop. You done fed me a TV dinner, mac and cheese. Code is heck in the middle. Please, poor baby is confused. Oh, is that a teacup dog? I would get a teacup dog, but I'm frightened. I'm frightened. I would be frightened to wake up. My pillow was extra comfy and firm tonight, and I would hate that. I don't think I'm responsible enough to find out what was in my pillow. All right, let's see.
I would like to see the sign that says no hammocks. We've got a whole. Where's the no hammock sign? We got a whole list of things. No. I can see you. You can't see me. I would like to see the sign that says no hammocks. We've got a whole. Where's the no hammock sign? We got a whole list of things. No. I can see you. You can't see me.
So, where is the sign? This guy has a point. What are the comments saying? I can't see you. You can't see me. Aggressively hammocks. He did get in that thing aggressively. When you grow old, you think that you won't see new things in your life, but you do. People like him are the reason you see signs in public that make you ask, who is this for? The ones that say things like, don't poop in the soda machine. Have we seen the sign yet? Nope. Until then, let him be. So they waited till bro put the hammock up, get into it to tell him he can't do that. Like, come on. I believe this is malicious. There is no hammock sign in there, and they're just targeting this man. I don't know, maybe because of his food color. He about to do metamorphosis. Okay, let's move on. A hair bra. I think this is copyright music, though.
Chewy's on.
Yeah. So this woman made a bra with hair. That's it. That's the meme. That's the joke. I think the bra looks nice, but as the people in the comments said, I know you itchy. It's cute, but I know you itchy. That's so creative, but does it itch? That's a little too creative. Why would you do this? They're screaming for help. It's cute, but is it itchy? Girl, I know that itchy. So that's the question I would have as well. But I do think it looks nice and it's different. Look at how different it is. Where's that lady? I love that lady. I haven't seen her in my TikTok in a while. Look at how different it is. Look at how it looks like it's not supposed to look like that. Isn't that different? And it's bunch of cruncher. I love that lady, but I have very creative. Yes, very creative. Everybody's so creative. Okay, he's at the club rizzing up girls.
Bro, I'm telling you, they was out.
This nigga's praying on my downfall. I'm on team.
Is that sexy? Hey, was that Sexy Red? There's no way to rewind Instagram video. Dang it. We just gonna have to watch it. Was that not sexy? Am I tripping? Anyway, sorry. I'm just making things up in my head because I'm senile old man. My apologies, everyone. But we're gonna watch that again to see if that's Sexy Red. Because I'm convinced. Y'all are saying no. I'm gonna pause it at the right time, I promise. Let's watch it through. One of the first comments says, "Stop touching first off," and I agree. Look at how she hold up. Look at how she looked at him though. Hold up. I want y'all to catch her face the first time he taps her and she looks at his face. I want y'all to look. Did y'all? I was. Anyway, sorry. Someone said he's brave. I mean, sure.
Nah, she's shallow.
What? You were doing so good on this live stream. Why would you say that? You joking? If you turned around, have you? Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. That would have been disrespectful. If you turned around in the club, have you ever gone to the club? You are not about to come on mic and then say some of the wildest thing I ever heard and then leave. We're not moving forward without an explanation, sir. I guess we are. While we wait for Key to get back and explain himself.
All right, I'm back. What's up?
All right, go ahead. Going once. He was on Kendra. You know what? Forget Pop the Balloon. This weekend, it's been so long since we looked at Kendra G's. I completely forgot she had a dating show because Pop the Balloon came along and did what a dating show is supposed to do: be charismatic, host, have a good, engaging idea, blah 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 blah. Anyway, but yeah, we can go look at Kendra G because I want to see this man what he said. Maybe Kendra said you got to be more outgoing, and he took her like. Let's find out. Key, you're back. Are you having microphone issues?
Nah, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
I already said what I had to say. I think everybody heard me when I said she was shallow.
Why is she shallow? Why is she shallow?
That man might have a good heart. That man might treat her. Listen, that man might be how she claims she want to be treated, and she never gonna find that out because she can't get past his looks. That's crazy.
What's wrong with his looks? What do you mean?
We're gonna go there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You saw.
I really don't. I have no idea.
You saw that face she made. That face she made. that face she made was like your toddler whenever you give them vegetables for the first time. You know what I mean? You try to give them asparagus or some shit, and they look at you like this ain't chicken nuggets.
No,
that's the face she made.
Let's look at her face again, because this is the face of a woman who this man came up. She turned, immediately saw that he was. Have you ever seen someone so handsome it made you sick? Look at this. Have you ever seen someone so handsome it made you physically sick? This woman is physically sick from how handsome this man is. And she says to herself, I'm not in his league. Like, I don't know if I could wake up next to this handsome man every day. So she turns away because she realizes that more important than being handsome is personality. So instead of being with this handsome man behind her, she chooses to wait for a man who might not be as attractive, but who has a better personality. And because of that, you think she's shallow when she's turning this handsome man down?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I hope nobody takes me serious about what I'm saying about this. I'm just kind of, you know what I mean, adding to the flavor of what's going on here. Because to be honest, like that man should not be in there touching on none of these women. Like he clearly is either he actually is, you know what I mean, has something going on disability wise, and like in his heart he believes he's about to get these women. That's not gonna happen. Or secondly, he doing it for the comedy, right? And if he's doing it for the comedy, I mean, he need to back off a little bit. Touching on them, grabbing on them, doing all that is a little bit too far. But doing it for the comedy is one thing. But that's really what I'm doing it for, is a comedy. That man is not about to get that woman. If I turned around and saw that man touching on another woman's shoulder, I'm going to go play like I'm her boyfriend just to get him away from her. Because I know that bothered her to have him touch on her shoulder.
I've got my eye on you, Key. We'll be watching you. We'll be watching this one, chat. Let's find Sexy Red and then we can move on.
Bro, I'm telling you, they was out.
That's not Sexy Red. I'm tripping. No. There are baddies in there. No, that's not Sexy Red. But y'all are lying if you say this doesn't resemble sex. Y'all don't think so? Like this specific frame in particular. Okay. She tried. I know she didn't speed up after he touched her. Okay.
Hey, she looked like she kind of got a little trot going. Like she saw him and was like, "Oh, he gonna come my way," and she trotted a little bit to get away from him.
He gonna get me. She put some pep in her step. Oh shoot, he almost got me. Let me speed up. Okay, let's see. That might be all I have for you. I have this pastor at the super church, but I don't know if the music is copyright. Somebody told me about this, the live stream. I hope you're here. Somebody told me the mega churches be the mega churches. Let me see. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Proceeds to fly. Oh my God, if you put a 1600s peasant here, I think this would kill them. Like looking at this, they might. I think they like wouldn't be able to handle like the lights and all. I think they would die. Unfortunately. Okay, last one and then we're good to go. Let's do it.
Guys, let's chew on my grandmother's breast implants. Guys.
All right. Well, let's end on that. Let's end on that. I'll give you guys something to think about tonight.
I can't believe you would even do something like that. Like out of all the videos, all the things you could have played and said and done and a whole lot more, that's what you chose to end on. Like Nah.
Well, here, point out which part specifically.
What's chewing my grandmother's breast implants?
Okay, stop right there. First off, stop right there. Go back.
I'm sorry, you said something.
Pause. The first thing is this man looked like, or whatever he is, you know, he looked like he around the age of, I don't know, 18 to 21, right? So if his grandma got these breast implants, what is she doing, first off, to be getting these breast implants? And how long have she had them? First off, she ain't got them in because he got one in his hand.
Women after a certain age can't
I'm not getting
choose
into
what
that.
happens?
Nope, I'm not getting into that. We're not going into that. I'm just saying they're his grandmas, right? So she's clearly out there. Secondly, why is it not in the position that it's supposed to be in? Why is it in his hand? Because last time I checked, there ain't no breast nowhere around where his hand is. So why is that not where it's supposed to be?
His grandma could be the one recording. You don't know.
You know what? Nah.
Do we need to watch it one more time, chat, or are y'all good? I ain't never called y'all chat before. Y'all are the Pettites. I don't know where we are yet. That's y'all have to decide that. I can't do it. It's like I can't give myself the nickname. Other people give you the nickname, you know what I mean? Like I can't come to school and be like, yo, the name's DJ Riz. Like, no, other people give you the nickname. What are you talking about? Your name is Pookie Pie. Your name ain't DJ Riz. We have deemed you, so y'all have to decide what y'all are. The Petites, the Parfait, I don't know what y'all want to be. Y'all said run it back, Turbo. Run it back, Turbo. All right. Y'all can thank Oh Hey There for answering for y'all.
It's chewing my grandmother's breast implants. Guys.
It's so wild because he does it so you don't have any time to react. You hear it, hey guys, let's try. And then after you hear it, the brain, this is something I learned when you remember what's that thing called? They went to see the Titanic in that small ship and it imploded. I was watching all types of videos, and these videos was like, oh, it takes the human brain 0.001 milliseconds to register pain and sight. So, but the ship takes 0.0000005 milliseconds. So the ship would have crushed them 100 times faster than they would have even had time to even see, feel, taste, whatever, anything happened. So I learned all about how fast humans react. So by the time he say, hey, I'm about to chew on my grandma's breast, your mind is just starting to turn the wheels, and then by the time your brain is like, wait, what? It don't even have time to say, wait, what? It's like, wait, what? And then he's chewing on it, and like it all happens so fast, is what I'm trying to say. It all happens so fast. Somebody said no weird-ish, but I feel like that feel good to chew on. He makes it sound good to chew on, even knowing what it is. He went in on that. Somebody said it's my own fault at this point for having this app. What did I just watch? I have some sort of, I don't know why, but I have some sort of hatred for him. What is James Charles? Is this? No, that is not James Charles, is it? I have a vague memory of what James Charles looked like, and I'm not sure if this is him or not. Maybe it is. I don't know. Well, we're all in unison. Thank you all for joining. Key, thank you for joining, redeeming yourself during the first 3 hours of the live stream, and then choosing the last 31 minutes to go out on a sad note. Sad note. Here, I'll get it out y'all's minds.
It's not a sad note. I want everybody to be well balanced and well versed. All right. I don't want nobody going to bed high.
Don't stop.
Because then they're gonna go to bed expecting a lot, and then the next time they see me, they're gonna have high expectations and high hopes, right? It's easy to let them down. But now when they leave, they're gonna be like, you know what, he did good. But then he had his moments, you know what I mean? So it's just gonna keep them balanced. That's it.
All right, we're 3.5 hours in. I'm not gonna push back on that statement. I won't. I won't. You don't think it would be better to set a high standard for yourself that you continuously meet, and people have such a high regard and standard of you, instead of being like, oh, I'm gonna intentionally lower people's standard of me so that when I do something regular or good, it seems amazing, instead of just continuously being well, anyway, never mind. Thank you,
I don't know
everyone.
why you even went off on that. Don't.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'll give you this to get the implants out of your mind.
Dang, bro, you all right, man? Dang, bro, you all right, man?
Okay. There. Hopefully it's out of your mind, the thing that I can't remember now that I watched that. Thank you, everyone. Be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me see if we are going to subscriber shame today. It looks like out of everyone here right now, 83% are subscribed. I think that's higher than usual. I think the usual is 75%, and 17% are not. So if you like the content and you'd like to subscribe, be sure to subscribe. If you don't subscribe to men, understood. Carry on. Completely understand. Completely understand. Thank you again, Mia, for the super chat earlier. And thank you for all the women who came on and contributed. Without further ado, have a good night, everyone. And if you don't like the video for me, like it for TD Jakes. Good night.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed up. Swallowed. Been swallowed up. I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed up. Been swallowed up. Swallowed. Swallowed.